Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel attempts to create a wild bubble top on a 62 Thunderbird.
This bubble top is kind of the holy grail of fabrication. It's pretty mysterious. It's definitely delicate. I mean, these cars have a history of being like top-notch attention getters.
But Ian's eccentric client isn't going to make it easy.
The crazy thing about working with Victor is he's always pushing me.
Then I walk up and I said, Ian, crank it up. Let's take it to the limit.
Yes, Captain. Taking it to the limit, as requested.
And with the pressure on,
The whole thing's collapsing.
Ian pays a visit to legendary car customizer Gene Winfield.
Every day is a school day. Even Albert Einstein, he said that you learn every day, and the day you stop learning, you start to die.
And later, as Ian continues the build, the project expands in all directions.
This is a perfect example of how I work. A venture into the unknown. I got a couple ideas, a couple of hints. It's time to make it happen. Victor started off as his client. I would do random modifications on his cars, and he's become my biggest patron. The dude, I don't know how many cars I've built for him, but if you look at the examples of where this man goes, his cars are top-notch.
Ian, throughout our relationship, has been able to achieve anything I ever wanted to do. The guy's got an imagination that I've never met anybody that has like his way of thinking. Everything we do is art. These are not cars, these are works of art, they're sculptures.
Victor's cars are full custom stuff, really artsy, and he trusts me to just go off with my own designs, and if they work, he follows through with it. Otherwise, we just collaborate on a lot of stuff. Victor and I are up at this car show up north, and this dude's got the king bubble top of all bubble tops. Apparently, it's the biggest one in the world. This car is out of control. Victor says he wants one, and I gotta pull it off.
So I said, you know what? Let's go home and start.
Victor is nonstop about wanting this bubble top. He's chewing my ear off about it. And I'm thinking the quickest way to get there is to use one of our old projects. We got this old T-Bird, never got finished. I think it'll be a perfect candidate. This T-Bird project, in my idea, was like a speedboat with wheels. It was this crazy motorized transformer type Thunderbird. And Victor just wasn't happy with it. He wanted to take it further, and it just stalled out.
The reason why I picked the Thunderbird, looking at the car, I knew I wanted to do something crazy with it.
The cool factor about this car is it's radically customized. The whole rear has been cut off and remade. It's got a wild lift-up cockpit. The hood is reversed. It's on air suspension. To take this car further is really like out of control. I consider it done. Victor just wants more. Our work is evolving. We've finished a lot of cars, and then he has me cut them apart again. The first task in this whole bubble top adventure is figuring out how to heat up the plastic. The first task in this whole bubble top adventure is figuring out how to heat up the plastic. The only hints I have at this are some pretty obscure writings about how Ed Roth did it. Some folks say a pizza oven. Other people have talked about like electric heating elements. The real challenge here is figuring out how to heat up a huge amount of square feet of plastic at an even rate. I got a couple ideas using some sheet metal, some plywood, and angle iron with a masonry board as insulation. I need to build an oven big enough to heat this thing. So what I ordered was 2 different thicknesses of plywood. The heavier stuff will be the form for the Lexan when we inflate it. The thinner stuff is for the walls. And the masonry board is insulation, and the galvanized steel is just something hopefully to reflect the heat and protect all of it. The loose factor about this oven is there's no way to test it except to do it. So I'm gonna build it, fire it up, see what happens. We're gonna build a frame to hold these masonry sheets. and then cut the plywood and sheet metal to match. The cool factor of this whole bubble top thing is, like, I've seen this since I was like 8, 10 years old. You know, these cartoons of cars with crazy plastic roofs. How the heck do they do that? I've always wanted to find out. Every project I do, I'm really just trying to push my skills. This plastic experiment is really next level. I've never tried anything like it, and it's a huge challenge. That's all the sheet metal panels. Next is the dusty part. I don't know how dirty this is gonna get, but let's see. After about 12 or 15 sheets, we should have a nice mess going. There's a lot of options on how to go about creating this thing. I really could just farm it out to a plastics company and be done with it, but that's not how I work. I want to figure this thing out and make it my own. Get my playpen, spend some time. See, so by putting the screw through this way, it grabs the plywood, sandwiches the whole thing together. All I have to do is put in 5 million screws. I mean, the real cool factor about the bubble tops is that it was completely custom. It wasn't seen on anything else. It was handmade for each particular vehicle. Well, now that these little sandwich panels are made, they need to be retained in the angle iron structure. So I think I'm just gonna put 3 uprights on each side. That way it'll all kind of flex, but it definitely won't fall apart. Next step is to take the rest of the angle iron and create a perimeter frame that'll be for the lid. The lid's gonna be a few different sandwiched pieces. It all kind of has to fit together, so I'm just gonna finish up the heavy welding here and bring it to the location. The rest is all screws and wood. We're out at Victor's place. We got the big oven here. I'm gonna try to make like a teardrop shape. I've read about different plastics and each one has its own characteristics. I've settled on this acrylic sheet plexiglass. It's 3/8 inch thick and it's a 5 foot by 8 foot sheet. The plastic needs something to hold it in shape while it's heating up. This whole idea with the backboard and the retaining ring is really just to keep a solid base. So the edges remain perfectly flat and the interior part of it will heat up and expand. My idea with this base plate is that we could blow 4 or 5 different roofs and they would all be successful. They'd be interchangeable and Victor could just pick the one he liked. I'm creating a balloon with wood and plastic components. I'm trying to make it airtight. The silicone is going to help seal it. Silicone looks like it's sealed. All the air fittings are in place. Got everything screwed together. Big challenge trying to figure out how to heat this thing up. I'm just hitting walls with it. I'm talking with Victor about it.
And he said, well, we need some igniters or elements. I said, I got some perfect elements. Let me just finish cooking my steaks.
I guess his family barbecues a lot. You know, they have big family events, go on vacation. They do a lot of motorhome camping. And they got these 2 huge commercial barbecue grills, and he thinks that it's gonna make it happen. Victor and I share a lot of the same characteristics. I think this barbecue thing might just be too much. He's convinced it's gonna work. All I have to do is prove it. Each grill has 2 propane tanks, so we'll have 4 5-gallon propane tanks, which should be plenty of capacity. As long as these guys get that volume of air warmed up, it should work. All you can do is try. We're either gonna have the right amount of heat or not enough. We'll see. I built this whole oven without the lid on. So we're here, we're doing this, and it occurs to me that with the lid on, you can't see anything inside the box. That's a problem. I used to work in a foundry, and they had this huge kiln, and it had this perfect porthole that you could look into it. So I'm just gonna cut a hole in the box and make the same little door that I saw on this kiln. Got a couple portholes cut in the thing, got a couple barbecue grills. We're just going for it. It makes some heat. Let's put the lid on. In keeping with the low-tech approach, I've got some plumbing pipe, simple gauge, and some air fittings. The idea is to just create a controlled air source to inflate this thing. Target temperature for this is 375 degrees to get the plastic that hot. I had the idea that this laser thermometer would be a perfect way to check out the temperature, and yeah, the readings are consistent, it's heating up, and it seems like it's gonna happen. Pretty weird. This huge sheet of plastic, as it heats up, is starting to deform. It's getting like all wobbly looking, and just putting a little bit of air pressure in it.
Ian just strategically putting the air in and heating it up, and I walk up out of coming from a project that I was on, and I said, Ian, crank it up, let's take it to the limit.
Yes, Captain, taking it to the limit, as requested. That didn't work. Shut her down. I turned my head for a second, and it was like, what was that?
Within 2 minutes, the thing started tweaking and blowing, and I could see the look on Ian's face, like, what the hell did you make me do now?
Shut everything off, it's gonna melt the plastic real bad. A quick turn around, peeking in the hole, I can't even see what's going on. I'm seeing sheet metal. I don't know what's going on because the whole thing appears to have collapsed. The whole thing's collapsing. I don't know what to do. I stuck my arm back in the oven to hold the thing up and kind of get a look, and it's just destroyed. We gotta lift the lid up and see what went wrong. It looks like the metal and everything tore right out of the roof of the box. It tore off the lid.
So we actually damaged and warped the first mold. I said, just crank the pressure on, and that was the wrong thing to do, but hey, it's a good story.
This thing was twice as big before this broke. So what happened was he lost air pressure and it shrunk. What a bummer. To most people, this thing looks like an utter failure. I'm gonna work through it. This directly relates to my process because I don't know what I'm working with. Most of the time, I don't know where I'm going. So this is where it failed. It ripped off of the backer board. You can see it's all jacked up on one side. But what this does is it proves that the theory works. This whole process is pretty mysterious. The only guy I can think of to talk to about it is Gene Winfield. Gene Winfield is one of the old school custom car guys. He's been doing this since the 50s. He's been there, he's seen it all. And if I need some advice, he's the go-to guy.
Well, I was glad to see Ian come up here today and ask me some questions about blowing a bubble. I've done it, of course, over and over for the years and years that I've been building cars. I do metal shaping seminars all over the world, actually. I want to teach people and keep this thing going. Every day is a school day. Even Albert Einstein, he said that you learn every day, and the day you stop learning, you start to die.
When I saw your oven, that's what I dug about it, because it's like, wait a second,
so
I could do this.
That's right.
And literally, you just have a pipe with holes drilled in it, and you light it on fire. You light the gas.
Well, we made that when I was doing Blade Runner. I built 25 cars for the movie Blade Runner. And they had windshields, but they weren't really complex shapes, they just had a little curve to them and stuff like that. So we built plugs and draped them over there, and it worked really
And that
slick.
was all just acrylic, regular plexiglass?
Yeah. Then when I did Back to the Future 2, I did the Ferrari, what we call the Ferrari. We had to buy special, it was gray, smoke gray, but we had to buy 5 foot wide material.
Just seeing Gene's shop and all of his projects, it really gets me charged up. I mean, I want to build some cool stuff, and just seeing people who really push your brain to the next level, this is a great experience. That's Really, the whole inspiration for my project was seeing you and your team pull this off down at Rich's shop.
Yeah. I built the Pacifica originally for Ford Motor Company, 1962 and 3, and it went in the Ford custom car caravan all over the U.S. So then I wanted the engine under glass, so I built a mold, and I changed the mold 2 or 3 times until I had it just right, and then it worked out pretty good.
One tip that Gene gave me, which I have seen, is keep the temperature even, you know? Be really careful about how this thing heats up, because if you get a hot spot, it's gonna deform. So I guess it's keep the air pressure low, keep the temperature up,
Yep.
and just
put
be cool with it,
put your
right?
manila folder in there so it doesn't hit directly on the hot plexi. I use a manila folder and I cut it into kind of a diamond or star shape and staple it down so when the air hits it, it distributes the air evenly in all directions.
Everything I've done was really by the seat of my pants. But after talking with Gene, he gave me a few tips, and he's been successful time and again, so this makes me think I can get this. When I saw you with the bubble top, it's like, I've been thinking about this since I was 15 years old. And it's like, that's how you do it. Right, it's like, this is like, you know, no vacuum machine, no nothing.
Right. I think that Ian's a real good craftsman. He's up and coming, and he's going to do a fabulous job. And I think he's going to go back and rework that bubble and redo it again, and it'll come out fine for that T-Bird. Shouldn't be a problem.
After talking to Gene for a while and really just coming to understand his process of doing things, it really parallels mine. It's like a real do-it-yourself attitude. So seeing what he's pulled off, I think I could do this. The whole wooden structure is upsized. It's thicker than it was. The idea is it won't distort. I strengthened everything. I used this heavier angle iron, put a complete perimeter frame around. I threw cross members to hold the center down. The fender washers around the perimeter, they're gonna hold the wood in place. The steel is gonna hold the whole thing together. It's like a big, heavy unit. Just gotta keep this plastic under control. It's heavier than it's ever been. We got wheels on the gantry, so we can just lift the lid into place, no struggling, no error. I set up areas to put a little temperature gauge. I put an air pressure gauge on the inlet, just to try to keep the air a little stiller. I don't know if it'll have any effect, but I just put a couple masonry boards to close up the air gap on the front and on 2 sides of it. I put some marks inside the box to help out. I didn't know how big the thing was. I was looking at a screw on the wall and just trying to gauge how far down it was. As I understand, the whole deal is even temperature and inflating it so the thing doesn't tear. You want it to be consistent all the way across the surface. The ovens are pretty much where they were, but we never had them even. They were just kind of laid in there, so I put them equal distance from the walls. Propane tanks are full. All the burners I took and made sure that they're all working properly. Game plan from the start for me is to slowly heat it. Preheat it to about 200 degrees, and in 10-minute increments, raise the temperature. Get it up to 300 over the course of a half an hour, and let it soak. This whole thing is an experiment, so obviously we want to get this thing completed, but it's really a learning experience, and we're going to keep going. Victor's a funny guy about the way he builds stuff. He'll paint a car 5 times until he's satisfied. Unbeknownst to me, the car is painted. This T-Bird is really like an evolving piece for him, and he's finished it to a certain degree. I think he's just trying to get the final exterior look. I think if I just put a bubble top on it, this sucker's finished. From the start, Victor wanted to see what's going on inside. I'm crawling around the ground, peeking in. I got my little system, so he brings out his great-grandfather's family heirloom mirror.
We couldn't really see. We were looking underneath, and it's pretty warm. I said, let's get some mirror. You want to use this? This is passed down for 10 generations. That's how committed I am to the cause. I might lose my heritage, but we got a bitchin' bubble top.
He found a way to squirm a mirror in there somewhere so he could check out what's going on.
I put it underneath, and actually we were able to see the bubble being blown. Don't tell my wife I used it, but, you know, in fact, Thanks for reminding me, I'm gonna go put it back inside and wrap it back up.
I think it brought a bit of good luck. My plan is working. The slow heat, the low pressure, it's not over 3 PSI at any point. It's very low air pressure. And the thing is taking a great shape. It's the best one yet. There's none of that weird deformity like we had on the first try. Thing looks freaking smooth, man. It's nice. Lifting the lid up, this is a home run. It looks like magic. It's better than I hoped. Look at the radius on the front of this, man. It stood up really good. My whole life has led up to this, my entire career. Look at the freaking front, dude. It's like, bing. We set it on the car, and the contour, front to back, it's a part of the car already. I think that's the top. I think that's the right bubble for this car. That's perfect. It's perfect. This thing's on the car for 15 minutes. Everybody's praising it, you know, wow, yeah, that was a great experience. Victor wants to go bigger. He wants something better than this.
When I seen it come out, I said we achieved our goal. And if we were normal people, we would say, all right, let's get the hell out of here. We're done, but we're not.
Technically, bigger means more heat, more air pressure, a little more time in the oven. And we've already proven that that amounts to disaster. But Victor wants more. We were really successful with this last dome we inflated. The proportions are dead on. Talking with Victor, he wants to max it out. That's how he rolls. We're gonna just push it hotter than ever and more pressure than ever. We're gonna get the biggest shape we can out of the box that we have. I'm following the same procedure as the other times. This time, though, I'm gonna let it cook a lot longer. The way this one's coming together, this one seems to be coming out the smoothest of all of them. I just don't want to get it too close to the flame because that's certain death. It's still pretty nerve-wracking. There's uncharted territory. How hot can you go? How much pressure can you put in? We'll see how hot it gets. This bubble is enormous. It's getting so close to the barbecue grills. My plan is to turn off the heat and then hit the air. That way there's no flame. It's just hot air. Houston, we have a problem. All right, let's try to cool it. I think we could save it, but it's definitely giving out. See the edge is all warped out? Yeah, we got trouble. Fudge. I didn't realize how much force such a low pressure of air could exert. It's really crazy how steel and wood are deforming under the air pressure. I don't know how this is gonna work out. It's on the flange, which is kind of a bummer, so the flange will have a little warp in it. Similar to the first failure, just not as drastic. Well, we just gotta cool it off, so I'm gonna raise the lid and let some air circulate. I'm just holding it at 3 PSI. Raising up the chain hoist, and the thing looks sweet. It's enormous. Better than I hoped. I think it's over 2 feet tall. That's real good. It's quite a dome we've got there. You can see here, there's a little wackiness, but all in all, I think it's usable. It's pretty substantial. 22 inches. The other one was just under 16, so that's a pretty significant increase. So we're putting this thing on the car, but it's big. I mean, stand back and look at the thing. It's for a different car. It's too tall for this one.
When I seen it come out, and I went back to like we could do anything, and we're gonna try to stretch it even further.
So this whole mission of heating and inflating the plastic, that was like a fraction of where we're going with this. We got the bubble top, now we're gonna build a car that's suitable for it. Victor's pushing, he's pushing it. He wants more. We're sitting there checking the car out, thinking about ideas, and he comes up with this spinning bubble top.
I said, okay, Ian, this one's gonna spin, go up and down and spin.
Yeah. Victor's talking about all these ridiculous concepts. He came to the right guy. This is what I do. I'm totally on board. Victor just wanted me to get this concept as quickly and as inexpensively as possible. Just prove that it works so we can go forward. Since there's no bubble top rotating supply hardware surplus store that I can think of, my friend Bill, he's got a pile of old junk. I think I can make something happen. I'm looking for any kind of steel tube that will telescope. It just needs to work like a power antenna almost, or even any kind of antenna where they telescope and get progressively taller. The whole idea is you have multiple sleeves and it should be incredibly strong. So my thought was there would be like a sprocket with some kind of a motor over here with a chain drive maybe, and it spins the whole deal. Just in the way I'm picturing this mechanism working, I think it'll need like 3 or 4 concentric tubes. I'm thinking just to save space and be ridiculously strong. It has to be super heavy duty. I don't know how much weight's gonna be on here, but the leverage on the pivot pin is gonna be incredible. If I made this into a U shape, like a saddle, and I could put a pivot through here, so it would be sitting like that, and then it would tilt up and down and swivel around. It'd be kind of like a mechanical bull almost. We could buy anything, hydraulics, motors, whatever. I just gotta see if this thing has the capacity to perform. To get this whole deal to spin, I'm thinking some kind of a chain drive would be good, because it really gives you the opportunity to move the motor further away from the whole pivot assembly. This is what I'm using. Bottom line is, this is such a crazy concept. I just gotta throw it together, low budget, quick and dirty, and prove that it works. When I'm just setting it up here in the car, I realize that the car's in the way. I gotta cut out a huge chunk of the automobile to make this design work. Victor was so proud of this paint job with the gold leaf, you know, it was a really hot looking car. So I sent him a piece of it. You know, it's just, that was his favorite paint job, so I wanted him to keep a piece of it. My original concept was to have this lift like on a hydraulic ram or something, but there's just no room. You can see how much room you have now, but when you drop the car, the cool factor is this car's on airbags. It's a huge amount of weight that's just dropping on the floor. I think I'm gonna use that to my advantage. The only way I think I can make this move is by actually using the differential as a pusher. As the car drops, the differential lifts this mechanism up. Like a landing gear kind of thing. As the car settles, the thing automatically opens. I cut out the body, and then I have to fit this outer bearing sleeve. It's working out good because it will weld right to the cross member that I put in for the airbags years ago. Everything seems like it's coming together. It's pretty simple. I just keep sliding these tubes in, raising and lowering the suspension, and trimming them to fit. This saddle isn't really working on its own. It's designed to work with the leverage of the big dome attached to it. So I'm putting this rod on to simulate the leverage that's gonna be there in the end. Prepare to lift. So what's happening is you can see that this is rising out of the back of the car. And then it hits the pivot. I said, and then it hits the pivot. No, I think it's just jammed. right? That's pretty cool. And then it comes down. The whole deal with this is just greasing up everything. It's rusty, dirty metal. As soon as I sanded it a bit, put grease on it, it smoothed right out. Oh, look, it's way smoother. I'm stoked. This thing is working better. Every time I raise it, it smooths out a little more. To the layman, this could seem pretty sketchy, but I call it a success. I had this in my brain and it's actually functioning. That's cool. The up and down motion is working perfect, but we're not out of the woods yet. I really want this thing to rotate. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. The next step is making a support ring to hold the acrylic dome. It's really a no-brainer. It's just some 1x3 heavy wall rectangle tube. The whole plan with the shape of this ring is to use the wooden backboard from the original oven. That way I'm sure that the contour matches this plastic bubble. The hardest part about this is going to be this really tight radius at the front. I think what I'm going to do is put the tube on the roller and create a gradual arc like it is through here. The thing with the bender is it makes perfect circles. This is kind of an ellipse, sort of like a spiral. So I'm gonna have to take that circular shape and tweak it. It's got a couple different radiuses in it. I'm gonna have to put the saw to use. I'm gonna have to just slice every inch or so and kind of fold in a tight radius for these corners. So the whole deal here is you can see how it was, but by slicing it, see, it makes a tighter radius. And the whole idea is to just keep trimming it to fit. I'm gonna TIG weld all of this because it's gonna be a lot less finish work. It doesn't have a big built-up bead like the MIG welder, so it takes a little longer, but the finish time will be reduced because you'll see there's gonna be a ton of welds on this. See where it's at. It's darn close. I just got to put a piece in. What I'm going to do is sleeve these tubes inside so that it's a very strong join at the front where they come together. And then back here, I'm going to put some kind of a huge support plate that'll match onto that saddle there. Once I put the plastic on here, I'll just go through with a series of holes and put some kind of a rubber grommet. That way the metal is never touching the plastic. It's just suspended in like a rubber bushing. I knew I was gonna hit a wall somewhere in this project. The thing with the motor gear drive, I knew was gonna be a hassle. Yeah, so this motor needs a lot of room. I knew that this motor was gonna be a pretty big setup in the car, so I just cut out a bunch of sheet metal and then I just went in for the simple lift mechanism. This thing is working, you know, it leaves room for development, of course, but hey, look, it's happening, right? It's a little loose, but it's working. The ring that I've created to attach to this monstrosity is a 1x2 inch steel rectangular ring. Met them up in the center with about an 8-inch piece. And then here on the back, I threw it on the car and I mated it up to that big heavy saddle piece. This is the part with the pivot. And then I threw some supports along the side of that, and then a couple outriggers so that it's got a little more grab on the tube. The thing weighs about 60 pounds and it's roughly 5 foot wide by 8 foot tall, and I'm hooking it up to an Angry motor. Victor and I have done enough projects to know that his cars are gonna get cut up. It's just what happens. I'm just gonna chop a hole in the doors, modify that, set the ring down. You know, it makes it part of the car instead of just stacked on top of it. This whole thing is in its conceptual stage. These bubbles are so delicate, I don't want to ruin one of the keepers. I brought the damaged one to try out. That way, if it fails, no loss. So it's still not perfect, but it's working. As long as it lifts this plastic and spins it, I think we're going to Victor's. On to the finish. Literally, this car lifts up, and spins around. It's awesome. You've never seen that before. Probably for a reason. Oh, it spun itself off of that block. It's kind of half carnival ride, half Thunderbird. I got it working. It's still kind of loose, but it definitely demonstrates Victor's concept perfectly. So it totally works. I'm gonna take it down to Victor and see what he thinks. Okay, I got this car back to Victor's. We'll see what he thinks about it. There's a couple small issues, but all in all, I think we're gonna work through it. It's really tough to say how Victor's gonna respond to this. I know he likes to far out stuff, but I also know he likes to see things delivered properly. I pull in with the trailer and I see Victor. He's not really jumping for joy, let's say that. The car shows up, it's half disassembled, there's a bunch of foam stuck to it.
When I first saw the car, I seen it was in the rough state. I want a system that will open up and rotate and be safe and secure. So that's what we talked about, and that's what I'm hoping to see today.
It's all there, it's proven to work, so that's kind of where we're at. I just need you to make a decision on whether you'd like it to spin or not.
How fast is it going up and how fast is it rotating?
It rotates too fast.
Like how fast is too fast?
Like it wanted to kill somebody. So let me show you the rotation. I'll ask you to stand back when I turn it on.
He put it on and it was rotating like very fast. He almost took off my head a couple times.
But just seeing this wild concept got his brain going in a whole new direction. Accomplishing this bubble top, I think I might have like blew a fuse or something in Victor's psyche because now he's really going off the deep end. He's talking about some wild concepts, and we're only at the beginning of this next stage.
On the next episode of Full Custom Garage, the bubble top goes out of this world as Ian and Victor take it to the next level.
I want it to be like a spaceship. It's already been built 2 times, what's one more time?
Some people would think of this abstract idea as like, what? And I'm like, yes, charge onward, we'll figure it out. I spent a couple seconds inside that dome and it's hot. So we're having vents in the front that'll vent the cabin and then vents in the back that'll exhaust it. My whole task here is creative metalwork and mad scientist inspiration. He's got pro body guy on the job, he's got a pro interior dude. I meet the guy and it turns out he's deaf. And Victor's like moving around, flailing his hands, this and that.
You know what? I move my hands and I'm a hand talker, if you could see, and we could communicate perfectly.
He's talking about making it look like this is like the main power source for the entire car. It's crystal-powered spaceship.
I'm a subtle guy, if you could tell by my car.
We're on the final run of the whole game right here. And Victor comes up with another idea.
But now I said, Ian, we need a new element.
He wants to take it one step further, so we're gonna try something unique once more with the roof. I don't know exactly how we're gonna get there, but this car is gonna be amazing.
on Full Custom Garage. Ian continues the transformation of the T-Bird bubble top, and his client pushes him even further.
It's already been built 2 times. What's one more time? I want it to be like a spaceship.
Some people would think of this abstract idea as like, what? And I'm like, yes. I spent a couple seconds inside that dome and it's hot. So we're having vents in the front that'll vent the cabin, and then vents in the back that'll exhaust it.
But the mission doesn't stop there.
My whole task here is creative metalwork and mad scientist inspiration. He's got a pro interior dude. I meet the guy and it turns out he's deaf. And Victor's like moving around, flailing his hands, this and that.
You know what? I move my hands and I'm a hand talker, if you could see, and we could communicate perfectly.
He's talking about making it look like this is like the main power source for the entire car. It's crystal-powered spaceship.
I'm a subtle guy, if you could tell by my car.
With the finish line in sight, Ian and Victor take the bubble top out of this world.
We're on the final run of the whole game right here. And Victor comes up with another idea.
But now I said, Ian, we need a new element.
He wants to take it one step further, so we're gonna try something unique once more with the roof. I don't know exactly how we're gonna get there, but this car is gonna be amazing. This thing all started when Victor and I went to a car show. Victor is nonstop about wanting this bubble top. He's chewing my ear off about it. And I'm thinking the quickest way to get there is to use one of our old projects. We decided to use this 62 T-Bird that I built from a while back. I figured if I made a bubble top for it, we could put it on and we'd be done. So I built a huge oven structure to heat up the plastic, and we took it to Victor's.
And he said, well, we need some igniters or elements. I said, I got some perfect elements. Let me just finish cooking my steaks.
Victor and I share a lot of the same characteristics. He's always pushing me for more.
And I said, Ian, crank it up. Let's take it to the limit.
Yes, Captain, taking it to the limit. We pushed it too far, so I went to talk to a master, Gene Winfield.
Every day is a school day. Ian's a real good craftsman. I think he's going to go back and rework that bubble, and it'll come out fine for that T-Bird.
Seeing Gene was really inspiring. It got me fired up, and I came back and blew a successful bubble. This thing's on the car for 15 minutes. Everybody's praising it, you know, wow, yeah, that was a great experience. Victor wants to go bigger. He wants something better than this.
When I seen it come out, I said we achieved our goal. And if we were normal people, we would say, all right, let's get the hell out of here. We're done, but we're not.
The crazy thing about working with Victor is he's always pushing me. We're sitting there checking the car out, thinking about ideas, and he comes up with this spinning bubble top.
I said, okay, Ian, this one's gonna spin, go up and down and spin.
This is such a crazy idea. I just needed to build it quickly and cheaply to see if it would really work. Literally, this car lifts up, spins around. It's awesome. You've never seen that before. I took it down to Victor's to show it to him. I pull in with the trailer and I see Victor. He's not really jumping for joy, let's say that. But just seeing this wild concept got his brain going in a whole new direction. Accomplishing this bubble top, I think I might have like blew a fuse or something in Victor's psyche, because now he's really going off the deep end. He's talking about some wild concepts, and we're only at the beginning of this next stage. The whole thing is detail. I have to remove this foam in the most precise manner possible. This whole car is conceptual. The ring that holds the bubble was looking good. Victor wanted it lower. All right, so Victor changed his mind a little bit, or Victor changed my mind. It's not gonna spin anymore. It's just gonna be a simple up-down motion. It's way safer. Primary issue is safety. This thing is coming around to the car show and does, as it's been doing, it's gonna take somebody's head off. This whole thing I was setting up with the body being raised up and contoured to the ring, he wanted it to be lower. We're gonna cut this whole area out and then lower the ring to the same height as the door. refitting this metal ring. It's a flat base that the bubble sits on, and the car is a curved surface. So I created this series of steps that allow the ring to fall down into the car and still look like a finished part. Once all these pieces get finished up with the door jambs, and then this whole thing is blended together with fiberglass, it's going to look really neat. We really refined the way the whole bubble opens. I was trying some crazy stuff with the weight of the car lifting the thing, and it just wasn't safe. We just went to a simple hydraulic ram. It's tried and true, works perfect. He's already got the pump here that used to lift the rear of the car. So we're gonna tap in with another switch. You can see it's big enough for a tractor or a snowplow. It matches the ram that used to actuate the back lid, and they'll both run off the same motor. I spent a couple seconds inside that dome, and it's hot. This thing's a spaceship. There's people inside. There needs to be a way for air to get in and out. I made these vents in the front of the car. Victor loved them. He came up with this concept. He wants some more vents towards the rear, so my challenge is to match them, complement the front with the back. I think I like this idea. The car is so flat that by putting these vents in, it's pretty cool. It kind of lends itself to the louvering thing in the 50s, but this is like new, old, space-age stuff. All these vents work. It looks cool, but it's gonna keep you alive in there. Otherwise, you're gonna cook. Once the ring that fit the bubble was established in the car, it looked great, and it worked so good, we decided to seal the doors up. That's the main point of getting in and out of the car, is through the lid. So the bubble top's gonna be the only way you can get into the car. That'll hinge up, and you'll get into it like you would a flying saucer. Should be cool. Well, there's no gravity in space, so you can just like float over the edge and land in the car. So that's the whole thing. There's a lot of metal fab that's gone into this car. It's really been a huge process, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. The plastic part is the real challenge here. Today's whole mission is to get this dashboard in gear. I just finished some really basic structure to just hold this gauge cluster. It's from an early Plymouth. I think it's a 300. This has been used in a couple other really popular show cars. And the reason we're using it is because it's freaking cool.
Since we added the bubble on it, I said, hey, we can't just have a regular car interior.
You want to follow that theme and bring it inside the car. So I want to have some kind of clear plastic elements on the interior. The big challenge with the plastic is creating three-dimensional shapes. I'm using fiberglass for the dashboard. It's going to incorporate an acrylic dome, just like the roof, and who knows what else. The first tests I did of creating this bubble out of acrylic just incorporated a simple metal box with a burner and air inflation. The smaller size is a lot easier to work with, so I figured I'd come up with a really cool twist on what I've already accomplished and showcase it right in the middle of the dashboard. Every bubble I've seen has been blown off of a flat base. I thought, why can't you just do it off a curved base? I'll unscrew it. The main difference being I created a metal backboard with this S-curve, because when it's sitting in the car, this is going to be the center console. So
So the center console wraps up, and then you have your gauge pod here, and it goes into the dashboard. So this is just a piece of sheet metal, a couple pieces of 55-gallon drum, an old brake line.
I pretty much nailed this whole heat and inflate of the acrylic domes. The big challenge here was fitting it up in the curved base plate prior to anything. Usually I would make a wood retaining ring like with the other setups, but the wood wouldn't bend to this drastic curve. So I heated up a piece of acrylic and just let it sag down, and that became the retaining ring. So what the paper does, you can see the holes I punched here. The air comes in, you see the hot air blast, and it just diffuses and gently fills the thing up with air. So it's a gasket, pretty slick. These two got overheated, but it's still the center that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna cut this center out and I'll put it in the car and you'll get a look at it. By building this cool metal backboard, it puts an S-curve in the base of the bubble, and it makes a perfect transition from the horizontal dashboard down into the center console. So this is like your center console here, and then to get to the switches and stuff on the gauge, this will lift just like the roof on some kind of a air ram, and then you can turn on your lights and all the other stuff. So it's just like dimensional plastic shapes. You know, you got 1, 2, and then 3. It's gonna be like a real fishbowl in here. This whole thing is really my greatest achievement. It's something I've thought on for years, and here it is. This is a perfect curved base bubble that is gonna be the centerpiece for the whole car. The whole concept of the interior, especially the look of the dashboard, is just like alien technology. It's gotta look kind of spacey, kind of organic, and I think fiberglass is the only way we're gonna get that really curved compound surface. The whole dashboard is fabricated at a solid round stock. It's really easy to form. I can make mirror images of the left and right side simultaneously, so it's just a quick bend, cut, and weld. Setting this whole frame up is typical fabrication. It was a no-brainer for me. The big challenge is in getting this fiberglass to hang there. Fiberglass resin is just a liquid, and the material is super flexible, so it needs some kind of a spine to hang on until it turns solid. The whole thing with this process is if you haven't done it before, you don't know what to expect. A friend of mine, Scott Owens, he showed me this cool trick with aluminum foil and fiberglass. So I'm gonna see if I can't pull something off. The whole idea with laying this subsurface for the fiberglass is using the foil and trying to stretch it across the steel ribs that I made. That way you have this really organic shape, and it just gives the fiberglass a perfect backboard to hang on until it sets up. I have very limited fiberglass experience. I was able to lay up a ring on the bubble for the roof, and so far so good. We created a ring that lifts off that will hide all the screws. That way the bodywork comes right in and it looks like a headlight bezel. It's a nice, clean, simple ring. So you can see here, you got your steel frame. You'll have your fasteners with rubber rings to hold it down. And then this nice, clean ring will snap on top and it'll be perfectly smooth. It's fiberglass with a Bondo cap. I got the foil in place. It was pretty simple to set up. The next step is to trim out the fiberglass and mix the resin. So we'll lay a little of that in there. This next part's like making a lasagna. You just throw your noodles in there. Toxic lasagna. The whole process with the fiberglass is to mix up the resin properly, cut your mat to size, and you basically just soak it, screed off the excess liquid, and then put it in place. The idea with using the fiberglass on the inside is that it will give us a really organic, multi-dimensional finish that we can paint. That way the outside of the car wraps over the top and comes right in. I really like the idea of doing more fiberglass work. Way faster than metal, and it's lightweight. The whole thing with fiberglass is it's fast. It's a little stinky, but if you were to create these compound curves in steel or aluminum, you'd be at it a lot longer than the 20 minutes I've invested so far. The whole thing with fiberglass and the rate at which you work really is determined by how much catalyst you use and the temperature. It kicks off from a chemical reaction, and the hotter it is, the faster it goes. So it's a little chilly today, but with my laser, I will activate the catalyst and be on to the next step. Fiberglass finally kicked off. It's nice and solid, so the next step is to pull the whole piece and then take out the excess tape, aluminum foil, whatever you don't want. Aha! Pretty sneaky, sis. I pulled it off the dashboard, and it looks like it's a piece that will fit on and off as many times as you need. So I'll let it cure up like that. Then once it's fully hardened, I can sand back the edges, glue her in place. The last step in this preparation is to just bulk it up a little bit with some Bondo. Fiberglass is good and strong, but there's some surface imperfections that I don't really want to sand out because that would make it a little weaker. So I'm going to build up the surface with some Bondo while the resin's still fresh. That way the initial block sanding of the whole piece will really cut back the Bondo instead of the structure of the fiberglass. Cool factor is the Bondo and the fiberglass are friends. They just bond to each other like the same chemical compound. The whole thing with the original concept of the dashboard was more of a waterfall effect, a typical Art Deco element. I came up with this thing with a center rib, and it's still that flavor, and the sky's the limit at this point. This is where the sculpturing starts. It remains to be seen what Victor thinks of this design. He explained something that was exactly the opposite of what I've accomplished. So we'll see what he says. I have two concaved panels meeting at a rib. He wanted two convex panels, more like a waterfall. Create two puffed shapes, almost like a tuck and roll upholstery job. It could still be done because now we have a structure to work off of. But this might be good enough for him. I really like this look. Just as the dashboard's getting solidified, Victor came in and loved it. Fortunately, I did the right thing. The whole idea with the way Victor and I work is just creative collaboration. You know, it's just conceptualizing, and then it's my gig. I make it happen. One of the big challenges in this car design is skirting the front tires. We had to bulge the side panels so the thing would steer. Victor's been kicking around a couple ideas on how to make this work, and I think I got a good concept. The whole idea with these skirts would follow the line of the vents in the front. It'll have the same screen detail on the inside, so the body will come to the vent. We'll just flush out this and blend it right back through the old door jamb. So we're hoping that this will give a little reason for this whole radius on the front fender. Laid out these square tubes that are going to be the base of the floor. I think we're just going to make the seats ourselves. Victor didn't like the seat that was in the car, so I just set up a framework here. It'll be the base of the floor that's gonna roll down into the footwell. It's a spaceship, you know? No rules. These are the seats that were in the car. They look cool, but you've seen them before, right? So Victor wanted to do something next level with it. This seat was pretty bulky and it was hitting the perimeter of the bubble, so we would have had to modify the seat back anyway. We talked about it and I came up with a design, still developing. The seat bases are gonna be in the car and then this will be the seat back. So it's a lot smaller. It's just like a little lumbar support. And we're thinking about having them pivot and disappear into the floor of the car. I set up some round rods, just bent it to shape, welded a couple nuts on there for a hinge. I'm gonna cut some holes in here because Victor was saying he wanted some LED lights in the seat back. And you know, it's just developing. We'll see if it actually flies or not. These are on hinges, that way they'll be adjustable. You can hinge them up or down if you need to access the flux capacitor in the back or whatever. This is an 18 gauge sheet. I just put it in the brake. It's got a little curve to it, a little area for your butt to sit. And these are gonna go right in here. The idea being there'll be a 4 or 5 inch foam pad. Make it nice and cozy. My whole task with the interior on this car is really just framing it out. I tried one interior in the past and I really have a lot to improve on, so I'm gonna let the professional handle it. The one thing anybody who is gonna critique a bubble top, the first thing the negative people say is, it's gonna be really hot in there. Victor's answer to that is a vintage stainless steel fan. My main plan is to create 2 clear globes in the front and rear of the car, and then have a clear plastic air duct connecting the 2. So everything's following suit with the shape of the main roof bubble. So this is the back wall that will have the air coming from the upper vent down through here. So I'm just gonna shroud this in. That way the fan will draw. You know, this will all be walled off. It'll have no choice but to draw through that vent up there. I've primarily built cars for Victor, and I think he's just getting super creative on this. He's not concerned with driving this to the car show. He's doing something to make a complete spectacle. That's the bottom line here. Looks like Victor's caught the bug. I said it before that my kind of crazy is pretty contagious. He was putting the reins on this thing earlier, and now he's out of control. So that's the concept. The air comes through the back vent, through the fan, into that tube, and then it ventilates the cabin. Feel that breeze, Tony? It's good, nice, right? The big cool factor with having Victor's guys to back me up on the body shop aspect really allows me to try to pull off one last trick. We've made a bunch of successful roofs for this car. We're on the final run of the whole game right here. And Victor comes up with another idea.
The third one came out perfect. It flowed perfectly. But now I said, Ian, we need a new element.
He wants to take it one step further, so we're gonna try something unique once more with the roof. You know, light a fire, man.
Yeah, and actually, I know it's gonna work.
You've seen a clear plastic bubble a million times. He wants something more. He wants like a pattern embossed in the rear of the roof. And it's like a whole new direction. As a last-ditch effort to stop this frame from flexing, I just put in a bunch of wooden shims because the box starts to blow out of shape. There's so much force from this. We got like 180 bolts clamping it together. But the box just needs to get up to 300, 320, and it's good to go. But getting 300 degrees over 32 square feet, that's the real challenge. For this last try, I think we're gonna need more heat. A little more propane, a little more fire. It remains to be seen what's gonna go on once we get up to the proper temperature. The only access I have to the material is through these little portholes. This structure that's inside the oven doesn't allow me to see in there. I really only have my past experience to guide me through this. We're not gonna know if it's a pass or fail until it's done and on the car. I think we're there. All we can do is turn up the air pressure. Ready? I'm gonna do it slow. The good thing is this is working just like all the rest. The heat's even, the thing's inflating, it's looking good. Oh, the front, look at this. Amazing. We're there. I can't push it anymore. I'm gonna raise it up. It's the moment of truth. Oh, we got it, man. Look at that.
Yeah, see, that's what I was looking for.
We get this thing nailed. It looks perfect. I think we're good. I think we got it.
And it's just enough rib. On all of them have ribs. That's what we added on here.
Raise it up out of the oven, and there's like a defect. I put all these reinforcing screws in there, and one of them has pushed the base out of position after it's inflated.
There was one screw that was still poking through, hitting the second bar, which didn't allow it to sit. The bubble came out perfect, but the screw was hitting, so the front of it wasn't straight.
When we put it on the car, it's not gonna fit. It's like an old record on a record player when they get a lump in them. That's what we have in our base. It's not gonna work. Plastic's still warm though. It's very soft. We're gonna throw a clamp on it and reheat it. This is highly unorthodox. So there's always something. This is our last ditch effort. The bubble came out pretty good, but see the base plate gave out right here. It's kind of warped. I got the ovens on high on this side. We're gonna put a piece of steel, clamp it, and lower it back in, and try to get some of that shape to even out. We're gonna try this one little remedy and then take the thing out, see how it looks with that buck off of it.
That was a perfect bubble too. Up more. All right, right there, we're on it. How's she looking?
I think you got it, man. I think you healed it. All that matters with this project is the end result. I mean, once you pull the bubble out of the oven and see this apparatus attached to it, you know it's pretty intense. Everything looks great. It's back into shape. The whole idea is to just cool it off, raise it up out of the box, and unclamp this beast. I took this 1/2-inch MDF board and created a series of templates off of the bubble Victor liked most. I spaced them out 8 inches apart, made a whole bunch of support to withstand the pressure of this bubble pushing against it, and fastened it to the backboard. Good. Getting the buck off of this thing really revealed that it was a successful idea. This was uncharted territory, and the result was ideal. It's pretty crazy. But the real tell is going to be how it fits on the car. That's what this is all about. So we cut it out, brought it over to the car, and then, yeah, that was what we were looking for. It's freaking awesome. Look at it from this angle, man. This is freaking ridiculous. With the lights coming through, bend down and look through.
Yeah, and then look what it shows, the other bubbles in there. Bubbles in the bubbles. That's impressive.
The whole idea with these ribs in the roof was that it was going to diffuse light. It was going to look like multiple layers of plastic, and we nailed it. When you look through, you see all these ridges, there's a million reflections, there's the interior bubbles, it's just out of this world. Victor's in love with this thing. I think he was just like gambling, you know, with this last-ditch effort to pull something off, and he won.
I've never seen anybody do that before.
The creative process on getting this bubble top done is there, but this is the whole car. Victor wants to set up the interior on this car to be just out of control, something no one's ever seen before. It's basically a blank canvas and anything goes. My whole task here is creative metalwork and mad scientist inspiration. He's got a pro body guy on the job, he's got a pro interior dude, and he's got a mechanic. I finish my work on Victor's vehicles, and I don't see him for months. I come back and like there's these amazing paint jobs, incredible interiors, and I've actually never met the people he works with until now. Victor's interior guy is here. I don't know where he learned his craft, but he is like top notch.
This is my upholstery guy, Lino, which is fanatical about inches, and this car was hand built, and nothing is precise, it's close. And we're trying to just figure out the details on filling in gaps where we didn't anticipate, you know, area that needs to be filled in or something added to it. You give him an idea, and if it's not right or flows, he'll make it flow and tie into the concept of what we're trying to achieve. He won't do it unless we could do it right.
I meet the guy, and it turns out he's deaf. And Victor's like moving around, flailing his hands, this and that. And it's really how they hash out these ideas. It's pretty crazy. There's like no verbal communication. And the results are outstanding.
Right here's gonna go rubber. I got it. Yeah, no. We got. He's saying here, he told the guy to put steel in here and to clean up this edge. But I told him I got a rubber grommet gonna cover all this stuff, and he says no. I understand what he's telling me. Same with he looks at me, and you know what? I move my hands, and I'm a hand talker, if you could see, and we could communicate perfectly. He understands what our goal is to make an awesome vehicle that we could share with everybody. The diamond. Oh, he wants to put diamonds in there. Let's see.
I think he's caught the crazy too, man. Now he's getting out of control.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Conservative at first.
No, he's like.
Now he's fallen under the spell.
This here, I had to take my old lady's jewelry apart, but she won't figure that out in a while.
The whole concept with the center console is to move air through the cabin. And Victor comes up with these crazy ideas. He's got all these clear crystals. He's got LED lights. He's talking about making it look like this is like the main power source for the entire car. It's crystal-powered spaceship.
There is 100 different variations. But you see how this is in the day, people. Here, let me adjust that. Here we go. Let me see, there's another one. Or maybe you want that, or maybe you want this. Or maybe we'll do that. That's pretty cool there, yeah.
I mean, it's getting like out of control.
And we'll do it subtle. I'm a subtle guy, if you could tell by my car. Every time I look at it, I envision things. And my vision comes from just looking and expressing, this is the way I feel. You know what, I may be an old man on the outside, but inside I have a vision and I'm cool. And this is the way I release my inner vision of what I think of cars.
I've seen what this guy's done on the other interiors, and they've all been fairly conservative. His workmanship is out of this world. There's no limits on this interior, so I can't wait to see what he comes up with.
We're gonna finish up the interior, then we're just gonna get the car wrapped, and just the final detail of just wiring it up, and we're done. We're so close.
I let Victor take the reins in the last step of this project. I came in today, and the thing is freaking unbelievable. This car has been in the works for a long time. It is a concept car. It's gone through so many phases of development, and now to have it finally wrapped, I'm stoked.
The car came out amazingly, beyond my expectation. On the bubble top, the interior, this is a total custom build.
The bubble top is next level.
The car is, like I said, a piece of art. I mean, the car is a masterpiece.
I saw Victor pull in the driveway with this thing. It's like, get out of the way, mister. I want this car.
Well, Ian, when he came in and seen it, all of the ideas all came together, and he was impressed.
The thing drives up, and it looks like a spaceship. I wish it didn't have tires. You open the bubble top, and the interior is just going off. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in there.
I'm ecstatic. He's ecstatic with it. Everything flows just perfect. At the end, I got my interior guy, Lino, and he was saying, you know what, enhance the bubble by putting chrome around the bubble and putting chrome on all the ribs.
They're perfect. They really highlight the ridges in the bubble. Victor wanted some kind of a crazy alien-inspired paint job.
I seen a car going down the street with a wrap on it. And of course, me, I got the most crazy, elaborate wrap. It almost looked like a reptile.
He had these guys come in and wrap it, and it looked reptilian.
On paper, it looked brown. As we put it on, it was orange. And actually, I had a couple nights of lost sleep because I really hated it. I called Ian, I said, Ian, come look at that, man. I'm really not happy with it.
And I knew we had to do something. This car was going downhill.
And he said, look, I painted over it. I said, paint it over it. And we painted over this wrap, and it came out freaking amazing.
Fortunately, we were able to pull it back, toned it down with a brown candy, and it's on. It looks like some kind of a fantasy lace pattern beneath the clear coat. This clear coat with the candy in it saved the project. That, to me, is the spice of life. I don't want things to go smoothly. I want to hit walls. I want to run through dead ends and recover from it. This is a perfect example.
Ian is so resourceful. Maybe 90% of everything that's on this car that you see in the interior and exterior, besides the actual car, was stuff we made work. From the hydraulic system, from the parts, from the back bumper to the instrument panel. And if he doesn't have the part, he'll come up with something else. He'll walk around the junkyard and find something and put it in there, and it works better and at zero cost.
Since I'm 15 years old, it's been car after car after car. That's just what I do. I can't stop. All of the projects I've done so far have really just expanded my skill level, my creativity, and just the idea of what's possible. So whatever's coming up next is gonna be big.
Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel does the unthinkable.
I got a show car, and it's just not up to par.
Ian's got a plan and brings together the A-team to make it happen.
I think this is gonna really get taken to the next level.
What other level are we talking about?
You don't get this at your local auto parts store.
Yes! Everything inside me just freaks out. A bubble top. Are you kidding me?
This is really how I want to work, working with an artist, trying to translate his drawing into three-dimensional reality. That's what we're building.
Awesome.
It's way more challenging than just restoring a car.
And then another heavy hitter joins the team.
There's a new kid on the block.
Dude.
I called in Eric for a reason.
This is the zone. This is the Super Bowl right here.
He likes the crazy, so he's come to the right place.
But as the guys get into it, things don't go as planned.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's gonna be hard to make.
And now I see this little bit of fear in his eyes, and I'm like, oh man, now what do we get ourselves into?
I am here. This is my car. We are going forward.
You'll hear all this banging and clanging and bending and like, and then he comes back over. All right, we're good, we got it.
We're raising the bar now.
I'm seeing this as probably the biggest challenge in my career. Called up my friend Johnny Jalopy. I've got a new car project I'm starting, and I really need his help.
Hey, what's up, man?
You returned.
I returned.
Howdy.
I don't really know what the heck I'm doing here, but I'm expecting to walk in and see some old car or some sort of parts laying on the ground, kind of the way he always starts a build. And there's nothing there, so I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Been a while.
Yeah, what's up?
Well, you know, after that crazy car we finished last time,
Right?
I was thinking I gotta have you on board. Thank you. I was thinking I gotta have you on board for another project.
Okay.
Man. I really want Johnny to come back to the shop. We collaborated on a project about a year ago. Johnny drew this really radical cartoon hot rod Volkswagen thing, and I knew I could build it. I got a plan, but I'm gonna need Johnny's artistic talent to move forward on this new project.
What's up?
Well, I got something under that cover, and I wanna talk to you about it.
Ah, what's under the cover?
This car's been sitting here in the corner of the shop for a while now.
So as he starts to slowly pull the tarp off, there sits the Space Junkie. This iconic, badass car that Ian has created. I've seen it in pictures.
So, exactly.
Holy cow, man.
So it's kind of in deep, cold storage. It hasn't gone anywhere in years.
And you want to change it. What could you possibly want to do to it?
Well, let's pull it out and give it the once-over. This car is a 1931 Chevy. It's a radical departure from your restoration and even more from your typical show car. This was a really intense build for me. It was really a workout on my skill level regarding bodywork and fabrication, and I'm ready to change it up. Like anything else, you get used to looking at it, and that's why I wanted some fresh inspiration, because I think you got what it takes to bring it to the next level.
You're talking, obviously you can't, it's definitely chopped as much as you could chop something, and it's stretched as much as I could think you'd want to stretch something. So what are you thinking, like new wheels or another paint job on it? Or?
You know, I want it to be completely revamped, not just a simple paint job. I mean, all the way.
You're not satisfied with
I'm not satisfied.
It's got to be different.
That's exactly it.
And he's like, yeah, no, I'm done with the whole thing. There's some cool things about it I like, but for the most part, yeah, I'm kind of over it. And I'm still like, how can you be over? I'm not over it. I'm still kind of in shock, like, yeah, I don't know where we're going with this. I can't imagine what we could do to make it cooler than it already is, but I'm in.
I've got Johnny here, and I'm slowly easing him into the idea of redoing Space Junkie. My background is in VWs, and the way that car is put together is it's like a rolling chassis with a body capped on it. So I built this car in that same vein. The nose detaches independently from the body, but they both lift off the chassis that is completely drivable without either.
I mean, first of all, let's just take the spinners off.
The spinners from the start were a gimmick. It was something to make people laugh. It was kind of cheesy. It was a direct reflection of the whole trend of the spinners at the time. It didn't start the trend I thought it would, so.
You thought it was gonna really take off and you were gonna start taking some orders?
I mean, come on. It's a 100-year-old wood spinner. It's like, it's wood, you hear that? It's freaking awesome. Spinners are just the tip of the iceberg. So this nose is undone. It kind of shifts up and forward. Let's take it off. The nose of the car is very easy to remove. 4 bolts, and that really reveals the work that's gone into the chassis and suspension. So see, look what's going on under there. There's a
Even that looks cool.
That's what I'm saying. There's a whole different story. I mean, now look at the engine. What a freaking wild setup.
Holy cow.
You don't get it with the hood on.
Dude, look at all this detail that was really kind of hidden. I get what you're saying now, that it really kind of hit some coolness in it. He spent time and made these really cool body panels for this car, but the true talent of Ian is all the stuff that was covered, the whole chassis work and the way the front suspension's set up and all these really cool, intricate details that he had done were all hidden underneath his body. You know, I'm thinking, and he obviously was thinking when he built it, is here's the cool part of the car. So how much time did you have in this, Ian?
I mean, I've worked on this car for over 5 years. Not full time, but every minute I could give it. So that's why it's so developed. It's a pretty good accomplishment. I can't wait to take it apart.
So it makes all the sense. 5 years of your labor of love. Let's just toss it.
Toss it, man. Once I pull this body off, I'll be able to explain my plan to Johnny. The whole deal was, from my thought process, I wasn't really leading you on until you saw it like this. I think we're working with this part, not that part.
That's comforting, because I'd hate to see you cut that apart.
That's a keeper. This is what we're gonna freak out on.
Okay.
From the start, I could see the concern in Johnny's eyes. You know, he doesn't want to cut this car up, and I kind of don't want to either. So seeing that it's a blank slate is a great relief, and I could see he's starting to think good stuff.
You literally put anything on this.
That's what I was thinking, man. Or just start fresh.
When he pulled the body off of the car and there's this chassis just sitting there, my wheels started spinning. I'm like, oh wow, there's so many things you could do with that. So I'm like, well, let me sit down inside the thing and kind of get my head moving. And so I sit down in the driver's position, and you know, I'm starting to see, oh, this is really cool. This could be anything. I think I'm starting to get it, man.
Right. It's a bare slate. You can do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
So this is really where I thought you could start your brain work from, but I have one more piece that's going to give you the hint. I think it's going to tip the scales in my favor. That car will be a vague and distant memory. All right, so you don't get this at your local auto parts store. Check that out.
Yes. He comes walking in, and it's a bubble, and everything inside me just freaks out. I'm like, oh man, a bubble top? Are you kidding me, dude? Bubble top?
I made that other one with my friend. And what nobody knows is I made 8 of these, and this is the biggest one. I saved it for myself.
Dude.
Went on this bubble top adventure with my friend Victor. He's got a really radical bubble top T-Bird. While we had the oven set up, we made a whole bunch of different sizes, and I got to keep the biggest one. This is what we're using. Let me put 2 sticks here. Let's put it on, then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Okay, we're raising the bar now. Some of the most iconic hot rods you know, the Ed Roth built were bubble top cars. You know, this is amazing. I'm gonna get to be a part of something that could be crazy.
I got this bubble stored away for about a year. I've never seen it on the car, and now it's the time to check it out.
Look at that. Dude.
That's pretty ridiculous, huh? Right off the bat, we set it in place, and I knew these two were meant to be together. So, you have a chassis, you have your bubble, but wait, there's more. What? I got one more piece to this pie, one more slice to the puzzle, and that's these quarter panels from a Ford station wagon. It looks kind of loose now, but you see you got a pretty cool body line, and then the details of where the lights come in the back I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So,
and it's got those cool iconic little pod things in it.
Exactly.
And that goes on with the pods and the circles.
Right. My concept, as far as this project goes, has ended at this. That's why I wanted you to come by here.
Okay.
It's like you got your bare essentials and just roll with it, man, whatever you think. I'm up for the challenge of building whatever you can dream.
And bubble tops are my favorites.
Yeah, and that's a pretty substantial
yes.
freaking dome.
The challenge is now we take all these three elements together and we come up with a cool design. I could probably pretty much put anything on paper and the dude's capable of doing it.
I'm seeing this as probably the biggest challenge in my career. I'm like a prize fighter without the prize, waiting for his match. As soon as he lays down the drawing, it's on. Ever since we mocked this thing up yesterday, I can't stop thinking about the car. I'm hoping Johnny is as enthusiastic as I am. I really hope he did his homework.
You've got pictures.
Aha.
Actually, I didn't get a ton of sleep, and the car had been on my mind all night, so I had to get stuff down on paper. So the first drawing was like a real basic, you know, not really adding a bunch of elements to make it drastically different, but taking all the pieces that Ian had said were the must-haves and putting them in there. But again, I added one crazy element because I couldn't help myself. It just wasn't as much me. So I popped out another rendering that was a little more radical. So I hope Ian likes them. What's up, man?
I couldn't sleep.
Me neither.
We made a mistake by putting this together so quick. I can't stop thinking about this thing, man. It's like I want to get to work right away, but I wanted to see what you got going on.
Okay.
The first drawing he shows me is very representative of the parts we have, except there's some kind of a weird fin on top. I mean, what the heck is on the bubble here? It's like, what is that?
Crazy idea of this like mohawk. You said take it to the next level.
That is, man. Right off the bat, this is exactly why I asked him to come here. You know, something I wasn't even thinking about. He's already got a line on it. I think that's a keeper. However that thing translates into the final product.
So Ian seemed to really like that first drawing, but I knew the second one had a lot more of me in it, and I was excited to show him that part. And then that kind of popped in my head.
Dude, that's the move right there. Johnny's second drawing really nailed it. 3/4 front view, absolute proportion-wise, what I would consider, yes, that's exactly what I want. I'm freaking building that car. This is the keeper, dude. I think if you can put that mohawk on that car, that's what we're building. From the start, this car was like inspired by a lakes racer, a very long wheelbase and low profile. And that was the difference in his second drawing. The first one was very tall and cartoony, and the second one just nailed it. It looked fast right off the page. So the whole thing with your drawing is, you know, this height here is showing almost equal with the top of the dome. You know, I'd say that the car would be no taller than this by the proportion of the drawing, wouldn't you think?
The roof of the Space Junkie was no higher than that, right?
Even lower, right? There was just enough room for the sunroof to coil up above this element, so it was probably about this tall.
So that is kind of proportion to kind of what I drew.
Ideally, yeah. We mocked up this bubble yesterday. It looked great because we had nothing to compare it to. As soon as I'm comparing it to Johnny's drawing, I could tell it's way too high profile. We got to remedy that. So I think we got to cut this bubble, man.
That's the most aggressive way to look to it.
As awesome as it is, we got to cut this thing.
The quick reaction to as soon as I showed him the drawing and the low cut bubble, he was like, we got to cut the bubble and see if that's going to work. It's almost 10 inches.
It looks like if you're coming up with a hard measurement of 9, we could trim 8 inches off this safely and just take another look at it.
Which freaked me out. Are you cool with cutting your big giant bubble?
Well, that's what we're here for, man. That's why I asked you to come here and do these concepts, because I'm open for the adventure. Let's cut this thing and see what we can do with it. I just cut apart my prize show car. A freaking piece of acrylic ain't no threat. To remedy this bubble, we're gonna cut it. Johnny and I settled on taking 8 inches out of this bubble. It's not really something I'm looking forward to doing, but it's gotta be done.
You just can't go down to the local auto parts store and grab another bubble. So now here he's talking about, you know, cutting this thing down and making it smaller, which makes sense, but still I was super apprehensive and I don't know how we're gonna do this.
So, I got a delivery of all these sanding discs, and they measure 8-inch on the box.
No way.
Let's set them up. Typical like machinist layout thing would say you have a base plate, you're gonna measure vertical, and then across to whatever it is you're gonna scribe on. And that's really what we're doing with the floor. We got a base plate, we got a couple risers, and a couple cross beams, and we're gonna trace off of that. This is high-tech stuff, baby. So the idea is, see, you have a bar, and it's always gonna be 8 inches all the way around.
So it's always at the same height.
Exactamento.
For me, I've drawn lots of stuff with straight lines, freehand, and I can pull a pretty straight line, but I'm going, man, thinking about trying to draw a straight line completely around that bubble and make it symmetrical was crazy in itself, but he was like, yeah, no problem. This is what we'll do. It's pretty precise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's freaking rocket science, baby.
That's awesome.
So that's a very big trim. Look how much less of a dome it is. The main reason I like this bubble because of its massive proportions, and just raising the bottom perimeter 8 inches shrunk it down almost in half, it seemed. You see how much plastic we're losing, you know? It's a very small bubble now.
Right.
I don't want to say a quarter's been taken off, but maybe it's a fifth of it taken off.
It definitely doesn't look as dramatic back here, but this is a lot of real estate.
Yeah. There's 2 things we're trying to accomplish, and that is fit it between the rear tires so we can have some body work in there, some steel, and make it as long as the chassis is from the firewall to the rear edge of the frame.
By cutting the bubble as small as we did, we had taken out the length of the bubble to ensure that real extended, long, dragster look. We needed to keep the length.
So what if we took this
and raised
and
it.
did this? Then it's a very long, narrow bubble now.
I see, so you're almost changing the rake of the
Changing the
cut.
rake of the bubble, yeah. Let me draw a line on there. Let's see what we got.
Wow.
Yeah, it's totally different,
Look at
totally
that.
different dome. Well, once we got it marked, that's it. It's okay, we've made a decision. Now what do? Are we gonna stick it or are we gonna decide again? Give it one eyeball approval. If we mark it wrong and commit to a cut, you can't uncut it. It's very delicate. It's a one-time deal.
And now I see this little bit of fear in his eyes, and I'm like, oh man, now what did we get ourselves into?
The only way to figure it out is if we do it, right? So
Yeah,
it's like getting
I'm in.
married.
Let's do it.
You can't fake it.
At that point, I was like, you know what? I could either sit back and be afraid of it, or I'll follow along. You know, put all my faith in Ian. He knows what the heck he's doing. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's cut it. I got your back. So he starts going right into the bubble, and those first couple noises into the bubble, I'm like cringing. Oh man.
I was super focused on my work. A lot could go wrong, but I could feel there was tension in the air. It's nice to let your teammates know that you got this, that it's a sure thing, but that's not the case here. I told them we're gonna cut this thing, and I really have not done it this way, so hopefully it works.
He just kind of proceeds to pierce his way every couple inches.
I was surprised to see how easily this thing cut. I was all the way around, and it's like, hey, it's showtime.
The clincher.
I felt a disturbance in the force. So let's try this. Grab under. Raise up. That's it, we're up. Lift up. Are you still attached there? And we can't put any torsional twist.
Boom.
Perfect.
Sure enough, he grabs one side, I grab the other side. and it pops right off. Super clean cut. It was crazy.
There it is, a smaller, better bubble. It was a relief to have that thing cut through without any issue, but the other point is moving it. We're gonna have to make a base plate for this to support it before we can put it on the car.
I want to see it, Ian. So let's not. Yeah,
I
let's
don't want to
put it
break
on.
it, my man.
I hear you.
That's what it's about.
Come on, let's do it.
My first thought was we have to reinforce this because we got through the first challenge. It could crack at any time. Johnny's so amped, he's saying he needs to see it now.
I'm like, forget that. Let's just put it on there. Ready?
If it breaks, it's your fault.
If he dies, he dies. I'm jonesing at this point. You know, we've gone this far. He's cut the bubble. I just want to see it on top of that chassis and see if we've made the right decision.
It's gonna be okay. Look at that, it's still too tall. We're getting there. We put it on and it was good, but I'm looking for great or even greaterer. So, looks good. We're gonna try one more thing. So I think the front of that bubble needs to come down right to the bell housing. That's just a simple little firewall I made. It's just sheet metal. It doesn't do anything structurally. This deal here.
Okay.
I think we can just cut this right off and we'll lay the bubble on the bell housing for now just to take a look at it.
So, cutting some more of the space junkie.
See, that's
Get it out of here, it's old.
That's part of what I was leading you into too. We're actually never going back, Johnny. I gotta tell you, that car will never see this frame again. That's been the Grandmaster plan from the start. Well, Johnny's thinking we're still trying to salvage the opportunity to put that other body back on here. And I'm only thinking it's going forwards.
And I'm like, okay, now we're cutting up more of this iconic car, and he's got no problem with it. All right.
It's my car, and I can do that if I want to. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, look at that now. Yeah. Dude.
That's pretty
Sets it all
silly.
backwards, too. Oh, my goodness.
I think those are our proportions. Getting this thing on the chassis, you can see it fits now. It doesn't look like a big high bubble top thing. It's very slick. Even better than I thought it was gonna be. It's all about the feel of the ride, right? And that's the thing, I gotta get back in here and see if it's working. If your head's banging against the bubble, it ain't gonna be okay. If it's too close, if it feels claustrophobic, it ain't gonna work.
Oh, yeah.
No less room than the other ones. It's a yes or no thing. I am here, this is my car, we are going forward. I think I finally arrived, Johnny. We're in a good position.
That's pretty sick.
I don't even look at that car anymore. That car's nothing to me. Put a cover on it. Since we cut that ring off the bottom of the acrylic dome, it's very flimsy. So I just want to be sure it doesn't flex out of shape and crack. I got this wooden backboard that'll support it while it's on the car. So according to the schematics, I think we nailed this bubble thing.
Yeah, I agree. I even think the height that we have up on the bubble area, too,
It works.
compared to that it's damn close.
You know, the real world parameters of the arch on the top of this bubble are obviously taller than your drawing.
Right.
But the attitude line of that rake coming
Definitely
in,
there.
it's aiming right at the front spindle, and that's the attitude of the car.
Yep.
I think we nailed it. Let's do some metal work. We're trying to make this tire appear as big as possible, you know, up over the edge of the quarter panel, and that's really it. Just cut and trim until it looks right. So we're close. We gotta take this whole wheel arch off now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point.
Immediately putting it on the body, it really started to define that flying arrow that we were looking for. But the body panel only goes up to about half of the chassis, and there's this whole other part that needs to be filled in. But ENC is pretty confident that that's not that big of a deal.
So this is pretty much drawing in space. You do the thing with your magic markers on the paper. I do the same thing with steel bars and aluminum bars on the cars. The whole deal here is kind of giving the nod to Johnny's design. So I asked him to get down and figure it out with the tape, you know, what lines are you seeing here? I do this all the time, so Johnny's first try at this worked out pretty well.
As we put up the tape lines, we can really see that the stretch of the car is super exaggerated, way more than I even envisioned in the first drawing.
This is really the point I knew we were going to be challenged because, you know, in a perfect world, everything would be art, right?
So, yeah, I just draw it and it's done.
Just there. So I think that's being the cue, style-wise, of how we're going to take this thing and represent that feeling. It's obviously going to be like that drawing was pulled and stretched.
Right.
So I think we're going to have to stretch all those lines to kind of give it the same vibe.
I'm digging where it's going.
Yeah,
It's really starting to evolve.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. I wasn't thinking dragster at all until we took this body off, and now all of a sudden you could see it is. It's like a slingshot dragster show car bubble thing.
And the next thing I know, he whips out a picture.
See, the whole thing I was thinking about now, and looking at this, it's starting to represent more like the dragster feel, you know? This is like a hot rod, but stretched out, and that's exactly what's happening here. So somehow, you know, the proportion has to mimic.
Kind of the way this is wedging.
Yeah, right, it's a total wedge, you can see.
I'm digging it. And then we really start comparing that photo with my drawing, and then here comes the next challenge.
Anything goes at this point. If you can come up with a concept for that missing piece of the body.
Well, I got my stuff here. I could...
Yeah, I mean, whatever you can think. I'm gonna cut that other corner panel and get it mocked in place. Let that'll be a little flavor in the stew. I got the artist in the house. I might as well just keep him working.
Through this whole journey, you know, Ian's kind of played this whole game of ping pong with me, where he comes up with an element and then he's like, what do you got? So it's interesting to be working on his level or playing in his game, and going back and rehashing the same design over and over and over again and try to really get it down to a defined ending is totally different for me, but it's super exciting.
Johnny's getting busy doing his drawing. I'm gonna get busy doing the metal stuff. I wanna finish up these quarter panels and get them in place. Maybe have a symmetrical look of what the whole back of the car is gonna be.
Nice.
Hey, here it is, baby.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so the back has got a pretty freaking cool look, man. Check that out.
That is badass.
So that's the thing. The rear is open for interpretation, but these quarter panels are a great freaking start.
Well,
It's pretty groovy.
I got a little something for you, too.
Throw them on the plate.
Speaking of that.
So we were just having like the car show in the shop moment. And then it occurred to me that I'd asked him to do some drawings. So it's like, let's check out your last rendition.
So here's what I got.
Oh, wow. That's pretty freaking good. Where did you photocopy that from? Who drew that? That's freaking nuts, man.
So, you know, brought the body panel down. I still kind of let the spears in there.
Right.
With the lower look to it.
Yeah, love it.
Again, added the, you know, the mohawk that you liked from the first drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of extended out the outer fins.
Love it. Right. Everything's just a little bit more dramatic. Johnny really went off on this last rendering. He really put all the details he was conceiving. I love the fact that he put this giant aluminum fin across the bubble. We knew that, but he's got some wild ideas with the headlights. The front of the body has some vents incorporated in it. I've never seen anything like it. That's why I want to build it, because this thing's far out. Dude, I like that better than all of them so far. So I hate to keep asking you to draw stuff, but you see what it's developing into, man. It's freaking amazing.
Nothing's cooler than, you know, being some guy that just draws a bunch of doodles to get to be a part of something as big a scale as this. When he said, hey, I need some help, I didn't expect it to be like this. Well, man, I hate to say it, but I gotta head home. I wish I could stay longer and help you.
What are you talking about? You mean you have a day job?
Yeah, I gotta get back to the day job.
Johnny's time has been short and sweet. He nailed this concept, and now all I gotta do is build it. Thanks for doing the hard part, man.
Thanks for letting me come and be a part of it.
Right on. Johnny Jalopy had to hit the road, but there's a new kid on the block. I called up my friend Eric. He was on board to come by and check it out. He walks in, and I think he's a little startled. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for the invite.
Right on.
What,
What? You act like you've never seen this type of thing before.
When I came in and I saw it, I was like, okay, the gravity of it kind of spread apart, just bits and pieces here and there. It's, you know, it's a little like, what did you do?
Just collaborating with Johnny on all the potential this car could have made me think I gotta redo everything. I pull the engine out because I want to freshen up the paint on the frame, pull the wheels and the hubs off. Everything needs a little once-over, freshen up. Eric walks in the middle of this strange disassembled state.
I'm almost kind of glad I wasn't here to see it being unbolted. It's kind of like pulling apart Frankenstein's monster. And okay, we're gonna make a cooler version, but you don't want to be in the room when, you know.
So this is kind of what Johnny comes up with right off the bat. So he's thinking like slingshot, dragster, bubble top show car thing.
I'm ready.
Yeah, we're sitting there messing around, right, mocking stuff up, and he goes back to the drawing board and he comes up with this ridiculous aluminum mohawk fin thing across the top.
Dude, this is gonna be sweet. There needs to be more bubble tops in the world.
Just like Colin and Johnny, I called in Eric for a reason. He has a background in building crazy stuff.
I never wanted to have the same kind of car. I always went to the next thing or something different. I cut up a perfectly good 65 Thunderbird and built my own version of the baddest bubble top I could possibly think of at the time. It's the iron lung bubble top.
It's pretty freaking far out. I'm not that easy to impress, and that guy impressed me.
It took me about 4.5 years to build. I wanted to build something that looked the part back then, but just something a little more current or just different. Just break away from the mold of it all.
He built a bubble top before I built a bubble top, so I think this is gonna really get taken to the next level. As soon as Eric got here, we got right to work. First, I wanted to frame out the structure for the body panels.
Basically, you need to have a squared structure and figure out, you know, how you place these, because if one's off by an inch, when you go start tying things together, you're gonna be off by a mile.
I wanted to get this set up so we could focus on creating the rest of the body. Any concerns? You think it's gonna be all right?
No, I'm good. The gear drive is just buzzing away like a blower belt. Being able to work with somebody that, you know, like Ian, that has this talent, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow, and I can't wait for it, you know? This is something cool.
It's gonna be all right. Today we got right into it. Had a lot to accomplish. I wanted to see the front of this thing fleshed out. We're trying to avoid this generic shape that the rear quarter panels offer us. I want to taper them in, try to follow the contour of the acrylic bubble.
So Ian has this idea that we're gonna do these slices into the quarter panels to kind of try to draw things in. I'm a little skeptical of it, just simply because you're trying to curve something. The metal does not want to go that way. We only have 2 of these quarter panels. We can't go out and find another 59 Ford Ranch wagon for quarter panels if we screw this up.
I have Eric on the mission of modifying what's already in place, and I'm going to create what isn't in place. There's a series of bends that I need to make for the front cowl area, and it's pretty complicated. The way that these quarter panels are created, it was like a big stamp, bang, one shot, perfection. I don't have that capacity, so I'm gonna have to make these in a number of different shapes. So I'm comparing each contour to different parts on the original fender, and I know how I'm gonna piece them together somehow.
So I get all the slices done on both sides. We start to pull it in, and it works. It's funny, it's just a big piece, so you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, after we slice this, cut here, bend this, twist that, it will be perfect. This is an important piece simply because if it's off, the front of the body will not match. Once this is set up, there's other pieces that go into the cowl that everything has to be cut in a certain way that it has to match. So this again is another piece where if the foundation is not square on both sides, you can't get the perfection that you're looking for. It's big trouble.
The easy thing is making one side. The more challenging part is duplicating it in a mirror image for the other.
So Ian comes in and he's like bending metal and panels and cutting this and cutting that. And as I'm doing my thing, he just keeps kind of coming over my shoulder and like, think, yep, no, here, hold that, wait a minute, mark that. Like he'll leave and you'll hear all this banging and clanging and bending and like, and stuff screeching, and then he comes back over and over my shoulder and here, all right, we're good, we got it. He's like, all right, weld it up and we're good. Look at that line. That is
Everybody's
just,
always critiquing.
that is years of
You should see what I do with the other guys.
unsurpassed talent.
The other guys that work in the shop, sometimes it's like a freaking football playbook. I think Eric's a consummate professional, and I got the wild style going behind his back. He doesn't know what's going on. Maybe he thinks I'm not working up to my capacity, but this is how I roll.
He has a certain style and a certain way to finesse his equipment to do what he wants. And it's entertaining to say the least.
We got about that much, and then it gets bigger. Look at that much. And then it gets bigger. Holy moly, we're getting good at this. We're both standing back and looking at it, and it occurs to me that Eric hasn't seen this thing mocked up. Johnny and I set up with the fenders and the bubble on, and I think it's time to show him what's happening. Totally fits. That's pretty ridiculous. I can't say that I've ever seen one like this. That's pretty
No,
weird.
I want to see the holy mohawk on it. With the bubble on it and the body panels going, it's starting to really take shape, and it's amazing.
The front is looking perfect, man. I couldn't have imagined it better, but now we have to imagine a better rear section. The rear portion of the car is a blank slate. Eric's got a couple ideas. He's not talking, so I guess we'll see what develops. Eric was holding out on his concept for the rear, so I finally asked him what he's been thinking.
All right, while you're in a good mood,
Yes.
open to ideas, I have an idea for this. What if we were to maybe dish this in
Right.
and do a radiator, since I like doing the pod things with the headlights and the grills kind of thing. What if we did a pod for the radiator and had it separate and exposed, like show the mechanicals of it, but do like a case for it?
I like that idea. So it's almost like the engine is like a piece of jewelry in the front.
Yes.
And the radiator is another
Is the
one
piece in the back.
hanging out of the back.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for that.
All right.
This is a complete blank slate at this point. I am open to suggestion, and the more outrageous it gets, the better. It's not something I would have thought of, but I like the idea a lot.
So do I earn my supper for this evening?
Yes, I think you're gonna get a gold star on the refrigerator
Cool, man.
for today's efforts.
My mom will be so happy.
Yeah.
I told him my idea, and he was like, yes. And then almost instantaneously, he's like, I got some stuff that can do, I'll be right back. Just give me a minute.
I have a lot of stuff. So he says he wants some kind of a concave surface, and I think I got just the thing. Well, I was looking for this, but then I saw that. This is a good start. It's about the dimensions we're working with. This is what we need. My television provider no longer carried my show, so I took down the utility apparatus from the top of the roof, and I had this dish.
And he comes back in here.
I got some stuff. Found a radiator. Ooh. I think it's a Ford Mustang, and I found a dish. You were asking for a dish shape.
I totally think he took a ladder, climbed up on his roof, and stole a satellite dish. This is perfect.
Concave shape, right?
This is perfect.
And it's
Yeah. Oh,
steel.
man.
It'll be perfect.
This is like the perfect shape, and he comes in and we kind of set it in place. I'm like, we're totally putting a satellite dish on the back of this car.
Satellite dish on a car, that makes no sense at all, but it works. The thing was mainly that it fit the car. It's gonna be modified, but this shape is a keeper. It's just gotta take the paint off and tack weld it on.
So we get it on the car, and we got it where we want it. And now the trick is to make it not look like a dish welded to the back of a car.
I'm thinking we just need to put something in place, start to get a feel for the dimensions of this, and I'm gonna make a simple roll pan for the back of the car. Just throw it in the sheet metal brake and roll it. Once we got the pan on, we took the body off just to get a better look at it. So the big question is, how does this transition from our fabricated part into the satellite dish? That's what I'm wondering. You know what, maybe let's make the top first, because I have you could see the old line right here. The way these things here from the factory, I'm digging them. So, this is just a line. I was thinking a tube shape with a nice round edge, not just coming only straight across, but coming back and down.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just to get some line in place. You use this round tube, and I just create kind of a shape. But I'm thinking like a V shape. It kind of tapers down. Something that'll just give a landing point to whatever sheet metal we put in place. I'm building out the back of this car with these strips just because we're trying to move fast. This car's gonna have a lot of fiberglass, a lot of filler on it, so I'm just creating a surface. It's very simple. We're not getting too crazy with it. We're gonna put in a series of strips, trim them to fit, and then weld everything together. The whole thing is just standing back and checking it out. There's still a lot of loose ends, but you could see that the dish was the right call. It's a great centerpiece, and nobody's gonna know what happened. Yeah, so I'm real happy with this contour. Just the way you're seeing the mimicking reflection of this and this, but it's set in. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah. It's the makings of a fine bubble top.
So Eric's got to hit the road. All good things must come to an end.
This has been like hot rod summer camp. And it was really neat to meet somebody else in this universe that gets this stuff and gets these things and it doesn't matter the work, the time frame. Just that it's got to be the best that it could be, and the ideas are the possibilities are endless.
It was really great having Eric here. He brought a lot of great ideas to the project, and I'm inspired to take this thing all the way.
Next time on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel continues the transformation of his wild show car.
I had a t-shirt when I was like 15 that said normal is boring. This car, it's got to follow suit. Sky's the limit.
Ian gets some help from an old friend, and the ideas keep flowing.
It started with Johnny Jalopy, continued with Eric, and now Mark's here. So it is all about the collaboration.
I brought you some stuff.
Cool.
Is he gonna like it? Is he not gonna like it?
Whoa, that thing is nuts.
With the car taking shape, Ian heads out on the hunt for parts.
I'm building a Roth-style bubble top.
Now that you mentioned that bubble top, let me show you something.
He's like, you got to come inside. This thing is like a snapshot of heaven.
Back in the shop, things don't go as planned.
Stepping back and looking at the car, it's just not good. There's something terribly wrong.
He's got his vision, he's got the drawing to consider, but if it's not aesthetically the way he wants, then it's not gonna happen.
There's one final element that's gonna seal the deal. People start to wonder, how the heck did that happen?
So Ian, you better send me photos, you better keep me updated, I better get a Christmas card. And other than that, man, keep trucking on now.
Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel continues the lead sled challenge.
The main thing I knew bringing the car over to Victor's was that his head was gonna be spinning with ideas.
He looked at me and said, oh, that's a good idea, but I could see in his mind, I thought I was done.
I'm feeling like the world-class mountain climber that just summited Everest, and Victor's in the back of the car with like a whole new battle plan.
I want this sucker to bulge.
But Victor's surprises don't stop there.
I've been thinking about giving this car to Craig.
Okay.
The only thing is, his birthday's in a couple weeks.
With the pressure on, Ian's got a plan to pull it off.
And there's nothing like hitting it when there's inspiration in the air. So I'm telling Victor, let's just cut it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
When he was talking to me, I didn't quite understand what he was trying to tell me.
Who cares how much effort it takes to get there?
Wow, that's right on.
It's the end result that counts. A while back, I had this crazy idea. I wanted to take this old Packard and convert it into a lead sled for my friend Tom.
Oh, man.
Came out pretty cool, and then Victor saw it.
I said, hey, Ian, you think Tom will ever sell the car? And he said, you kidding?
Victor wanted me to come over, some kind of consultation. I'm walking down the driveway, and the Packard's already there.
Surprise, I got the Packard. I don't want to change that much, but I want to change everything.
Victor comes in and just wipes the slate clean.
check it out, I got your clip. They said, that's not gonna work. I said, I know it's not, but Ian will make it work.
Took a bit of doing, but I got the body on.
That's it, man. I brought you a surprise, so come on out and I'll show you what my idea is.
Victor says he's got something out in the driveway.
1950 Mercury was another project.
This nose piece is a game changer, but it's gonna take a little bit of doing though.
The modification isn't over yet.
Okay.
I really want to get this thing to my house.
The whole thing with taking the car over to Victor's house is now it's in his ballpark.
And I still got some tricks up my sleeve.
This thing has the potential to go totally off the rails. This Packer's come a long way. I got it over here to Victor's. He was saying he needs to check it out in person, kind of ruminate on it. There's one or two things left for me to do sheet metal-wise, and this thing's almost a wrap. All right, so this is pretty much all the fab in the hood, aside from the scoops. I'm gonna finish these 2 scoops by the time he gets here, and we're good to go. I don't know where the idea first came from for these scoops in the side of the Merc hood, but you see it all the time. It's a really cool thing. It breaks up the side profile of the hood a little bit. My original idea was putting them more towards the middle of the hood, but Victor wants them further back. I'm a little unsure if this far back is really gonna work or not. The only way to figure it out is to mock it up and see what it looks like. The whole thing about this vent is it's all about placement and the shape of it. The reason this idea works on the Merc hood is because there's a huge indent that people cover over. The Packard just doesn't have that. The whole thing is just trying to get this thing to work. The process here is pretty simple. Just make this piece of sheet metal fit the hood and put a curve in it. The whole thing about this location change is I don't have the shop set up the way I typically would, so it's all about improvisation. The thing about this is it's a section of a cone, so I'll try to just push it. So I got a piece of pipe I found. Victor has a sheet metal brake. It's pretty basic, but I think I could pull it off. If you ask Gene Winfield, for instance, how they did it back in the 50s, he might say this was the same technique. It's as old as history. I got both these pieces formed. They look good. Tacking this thing on, and Victor comes in.
Ian, how you doing?
Hey, man.
All right, you got the scoop, huh?
Yeah, I did all the detailing on the hood, and I just wanted you to check out the scoop before we finalize it. They're kind of mocked up.
I really can't tell. Can we drop the car on the ground?
Yeah, I just jacked it up.
Yeah, we'll be able to see how it looks in proportion to the size of the hood. I walked in and Ian finished the scoops. I wasn't really sure how they were gonna come out because I had placed them more towards the back, and then they look kind of funky. For sure, it doesn't need to go back. A little forward, just to see.
I just wasn't feeling this first vent and its location, so I was telling Victor, stand back, let me move it around, tell me what you think. 4 eyes are better than 2.
Yeah, that looks more in proportion. Yeah, I think about right there, that's it.
By moving this vent around, you know, you hit a sweet spot. I tacked it in place and then stood back, and I concur. This thing is looking good.
That's it right there. Actually makes it look meaner. Yeah, it just breaks that up. Now, the hood, instead of being 20 foot long, now it's only 10 foot long.
Right. Well, if you're cool with the placement of those scoops, I'll just finish welding them in. That's a no-brainer. There's a lot to do on this front grille, so I don't know where you're going with that. I got these scoops pretty much finished up. The positioning is working for me. Hopefully Victor is in agreement.
How's it going?
Good, man. I just finished grinding all this stuff down. You got a couple scoops.
Looks good. I mean, what a difference.
So the scoops took a little while to weld, so I didn't warp everything. I took the stock Merc bumper and I narrowed it because we narrowed the nose underneath the headlights, remember?
In the first glance, it looked like nothing was done to it until I really looked and said, hey, them bumpers aren't too long anymore. Yeah, so where did you cut the bumper from?
I I narrowed the overrider on each side so it doesn't even mess with the chrome plating. And then I narrowed it right behind the license plate so it looks like it's a factory bumper, just a little bit narrower.
Perfect, yeah. Clean cut. Actually, it looks factory done.
I think the whole goal that we're going for here is this subtle kind of makeover. You're not seeing any real hard lines of modification. It all just kind of flows, and I guess that's really the end result Victor's looking for.
Yeah, the bumper looks great. Before we could commit to the grille, I want to commit to the headlight covers.
Victor pulls out these headlight bezels for the front end restyle. We've been using them the whole time, but he tells me he's been thinking.
Last night when I got up at like 4 in the morning, I mocked these up. Then I remember I had another set and I actually put the light bulbs in it. So I got one more set. I've already stuck the light bulb in there.
Victor has these aftermarket pieces you see on custom Mercs all the time. It's like a Frenched universal headlight.
And it fits right in, no extra modification, nothing.
They work perfect. They got brand new fancy bulbs inside, and it really gives the car a really face-forward appearance.
Now it's been cut, sectioned, chopped, straightened, length, and now it's Frenched.
I think this is perfect. So we just weld those surrounds right to the fender, and that's it, done.
So we're committed now, let's get into the grille. That's another story.
I asked Victor what grill he was using, and he comes over with a wagon full of parts, you know, the swap meet thing.
I even modified the wagon to carry my equipment. This is my candy store right here. You know, I go to the swap meet here in California, Pomona, and just collect things. And I had a whole collection of grill, over probably 10, 15 years worth of grill. That's option number one, a floating grill like off of a shoebox.
This grill works perfectly if you're building a shoebox. You can see the orientation of the headlights and the bumper, make it look just like that car. I mean, that's an awesome center bar, but it just tells you it's a shoebox forward, and that's the thing. It's
and
like,
it doesn't go with the lines floating. See, this thing flows, and that just, it doesn't do it.
Yeah, it cuts it right across. Victor's really looking for my opinion in a lot of ways.
Option one, nada.
Nada. But still, it's not easy to put these parts on a packer, so it's got to work out somehow.
Option two, it's a 53 Chevy. This might flow a little better.
Really works with these curves in the Merc opening, though. That's cool. Second thing up is this grill from, say, a 53 or 54 Chevy. It's a good-looking piece also.
That fits it and it flows. The only problem I see is, what do you see behind it? You see nothing but the radiator and all the lines of the modification we've done behind it.
It doesn't work with the overrider either. You
Yeah,
have to
no,
run just a blade bumper.
It fits, but it doesn't work. The grill, to me, is like a nose on a person. It has to fit right between the two headlights, which are your eye, and your mouth is the bumper.
Well, I don't think any of our choices so far are that good, man.
It just doesn't flow. So now I guess we'll go with option three, which is the regular stock Mercury grill.
I think both Victor and I were just looking for that other thing, you know? We were both leaning towards the Merc grill because it's a classy look. We're just trying out other options because you never know. Wow, this works. Even being narrowed, it still doesn't hit it.
And it fits perfect because it covers
everything up.
everything, that whole big opening of this radiator.
It's like the car was made for it. The bumper fits, the grill opening fits. It's pretty much a keeper. The thing is so crazy modified, maybe just a little element of stock is what's gonna really make people wonder what went on here.
It looks like a stock Merc from the front. Once this car passes, they're gonna go, what the heck? I thought that was a Merc.
Hey, everybody's got their thing, right? Victor loves Mercs, and I think that's what we're doing here. We're building another Mercury out of a Packard. If we're using the stock grill, then it's a pretty simple fix to the side of this fender then. I'll cut off all this ridge here where the old turn signal action used to happen, and I'll just follow it around right into the wheel arch with a piece of sheet metal. You can see how far out this is sticking. But now we have this curve here dictating the curve of the fender. So the sheet metal, you can see, will just turn the corner. It'll go right around, and then the pan will connect through there. See, so this, I mean, obviously I'm covering up the wheel
Yeah.
But you see that's gonna follow this bumper right through.
Pull that cardboard back for me. I want to see something.
I'm just thinking about, let's finish this whole problem. Let's just get the fender put back together and move forward. Victor's like, hold on, I got a whole new idea.
Can we turn the cardboard on the other side? Let's see, I want to see something.
So if it's coming
Yeah,
in.
right there. So it's gonna kind of end there, right? Can we open up that whole wheel well with a radius there?
Oh yeah, for sure. That way it'll steer when it's low, because it's not gonna steer now. Victor's idea here is to radius the wheel opening. He wants to see the tire, because the car sits so low, the tire totally disappears. He loves the look of the white wall, but more importantly, for me, the idea is that it gives the tires the opportunity to steer. It looks awesome, sure, but to create this very complex shape, as well as filling in a hole, it's a pretty big deal. It's the problem with these custom cars, and with Victor, is, you know, sky's the limit. There is unlimited potential here. Every time we solve one problem, he's got more ideas to create problems with. Victor had to take off, and that's kind of his gig. He's the idea guy. Now it's up to me to just make it happen. First thing I need to do is finish out this sheet metal that comes around below the headlight. It's just gonna be one panel that wraps right around, mates the Packard fender to the Merc sheet metal. I don't have any of my regular tools here, so I gotta figure out how to form this stuff. The whole thing is, I'm looking around the shop for something with a slightly smaller radius than what I need on the car, because it doesn't actually stay the same shape you roll it into. It always relaxes a bit. I got two options. Roll of tar paper or a copper pipe. So there was like 3 or 4 rolls of tar paper laying around. I picked the one that looked like it matched best. Working out of the shop, you gotta make do. Their equipment's awesome, but there it is. Getting this sheet metal panel in place around the front of the fender, I know it's not right, it looks a little flat. I'm gonna build out the wheel arch and then take a look at it. I don't have a bender, so I'm gonna do the old tire trick. I've used this trick a whole bunch of times before I got my fancy equipment, and first thing I can think of is a Volkswagen rim, because you always need some of that, and I know it's gonna be the right radius. Back before all those fancy tools were around, that's how they used to do it. They would take the spare tire off their Model T, and they would curl it up. Takes a little muscle, but I got some to spare. I really just figured that radius is gonna be the right one. I mean, did you see me do any measuring? Look at the outtakes. I did that to that. That's when you know you're on the right life path. Things just fall into place. The wheel arch is gonna work, but the sheet metal panel ain't happening. It's starting to look like a cartoon car, you know? The whole thing with this simple forming is that all it yields is a very flat shape. I'm gonna go look around. I know Victor's got a ton of parts around here. We gotta make the fender look right, and I'm just looking for other options. Back here in Victor's storage yard, I know he's had this Merc back here for a while that we've been using as the donor parts car. And yeah, now that it's revealed, I think we all understand exactly why this is a parts car. Somebody really screwed it up. Looking over the car, I could see why it was abandoned. I mean, whoever started the chop, they cut it apart pretty good. They just didn't know how to put it back together again, and that's what ruined it. I've seen some pretty rough work, but nothing quite compares to this chop top. So the parts I came over looking for aren't on it. So what I was thinking is I could maybe use this section of the fender, take this and flip it around backwards to the other side. They're both very strong, and the curvature matches the part of the Merc fender we're using. I think maybe these fenders are enough for me. I think the car was getting a little sentimental. It started to reattach itself, so it was a little difficult removing it. There There it is. We really don't have much to work with, so there's only one way to find out, and that's to take them back to the shack and see if it fits. I got the Merc fenders back in the shop. I'll do a little slicing and dicing, see if I can make them work. The whole thing with these leftover parts is that it does have a really nice radius. The fender well opening is represented, and it's, you know, it's original Merc sheet metal. You can see clearly it's curved, but it also has a slight curvature this way. See, you got this nice undercurved section. It's nice and round. There's plenty of material to come up. So that's it. A little duct tape. This thing's done, ready for paint. The whole thing here is we're missing what we need. That's why I tried to make it. So now I'm gonna try to make it once more, and maybe this time it'll stick. And the whole reasoning behind doing it this way is that you've got these awesome pieces of sheet metal that already exist. What's better than an original Mercury part, right? It looks great. It's just taking the other leftover stuff and making it work on the new part. I got the piece of Merc sheet metal fit on the car. It's welded up. It looks like it's gonna work perfect, but I need to cut out the wheel opening so that the tire will steer. I started the fender opening with this round tube, so I need to continue that detail right through to the bumper. So I'm gonna continue with the radius on top and then gradually angle it forward and then turn really sharp right into the bumper. Everything here looks good. I was just finishing cleaning it up, give it a once over with the sander, and Victor walks in.
Ian, how's it going?
Right on time, man. I got this thing pretty much nailed. Hopefully it's what you're looking for.
Look at the white wall on that thing. That's like right on. We wanted to see the wheel and tire. The radius on the tire is bitchin', dead on.
Victor walked in and he was all smiles and nods. He was liking it, and he didn't realize the amount of effort it took to get here, and we weren't going backwards, so he had the right response. I know you want it to look as much like the Merc as possible, so I took a section of the leftover front fender off your car, and I used that, and that's how the whole contour flowed out into the headlight area.
When he was talking to me, I didn't quite understand what he was trying to tell me. I mean, it looks like it was designed and built like that from the factory. This whole car's flowing, baby.
We're done. That's it. Send it to Bodywork, and we're off to the races, man.
Does it turn, though? Does it turn?
So it looks great in the end, you know, both at ride height and drop, but my main concern was that the car will steer and the tire doesn't hit anywhere.
I've been thinking about giving this car to Craig.
Okay.
The only thing is, his birthday's in a couple weeks.
If we can get this into Bodywork, this thing's ready, man. Bodywork and paint it.
I don't believe it's ready yet. After looking at the car, and especially now after I see this flow, I got some issues back here. I think we need to do a little bit more to this. So here it goes.
I'm feeling like the world-class mountain climber that just summited Everest, right? We did it, we're on to the finish, and Victor's in the back of the car with like a whole new battle plan.
Looking at the side of the car, it's straight. I don't want it straight. I want this sucker to bulge. I'm welling away with my hands like I'm always talking and pointing and stretching, and he's looking at me like, oh, shoot, what am I getting into now?
It turns out there is kind of a deadline with this car. Victor's planning on giving it to one of his employees, his right-hand man, Craig. That's the thing with Victor. He's got a million ideas, and they all start flowing. Looks like the rear of this car is gonna be a whole new adventure. The main thing I knew bringing the car over to Victor's was that his head was gonna be spinning with ideas.
I've never sold, give away anything, any car I've ever designed or built. And in my mind, I go, hey, you know what? Who better can I give the car to? I mean, Craig, he's a good friend. He just so happens to work with me.
Craig has also been on the sideline through all the projects Victor and I have ever accomplished, so he's always been in the mix. I think he's gonna be really surprised.
First thing I wanna do is let's make this a two-door. The main idea that I brought up to Ian, number one, this is a four-door. That's unacceptable. We're gonna make this thing a two-door, but the front door's long enough so we don't have to extend it.
Well, that's certainly a lot easier. The thing with that is if we do weld up the back doors, look how massive the B-pillar is gonna be. Typically you would lengthen the front doors if that was the look you're going for. It's Victor's idea to seal up the rear doors, and I'm all good with that. That makes perfect sense, but what happens is when you're looking at the B-pillar, it becomes this massive panel. You know, what if we just made it a hardtop? What if we just came and this was your window opening?
I agree, and that'll go with the whole flow of this car. Long hood, long side window, almost like looking at a limousine.
I mean, if you want to just commit to it, I can cut that off and we can get the look right now. But then it'll take me a couple of days to weld it all up.
I'm anxious now. Let's start cutting that sucker.
There's nothing like hitting it when there's inspiration in the air. So I'm telling Victor, this car is super strong. I got braces underneath. Let's just cut it. You'll see what I'm talking about. I've done this on a few cars in the past, and I know what this is gonna do. It's gonna give it this immense open air feeling. The side of this car is really closed off by the B-pillar and the window frames. As soon as I cut it, watch. Surgical precision. I kind of knew what this was going to accomplish, but it was really good to see that Victor was on board with it. He left it up to me to make it happen. Much like when I'm chopping a top, I'm thinking about the contour of the sheet metal and how I can reuse it to make it look perfectly factory. Just like when you do a chop top, you want to save all the contours because they're factory stampings. So this deal matches. I'm just gonna put it down there. You'll see, I'm gonna repurpose these old junk and make a custom car out of it. Reusing these pieces was a good call. The bottom piece was a little nip and it fit right back in. Unfortunately with the top, the length of it was more than what the pillar afforded me. As it turns out, this piece is just too small. See, I just got away with it on the bottom. On the top, this contour changes a little bit right here, and we just don't have the material. See, it's been welded and fixed in the other chop. It's a pretty simple piece of sheet metal. It's just a straight shot with a curve in it, so it's not gonna be that hard to duplicate. It's just a time saver to reuse the old stuff. It's just gonna take a sheet metal brake and just kind of creep it in there and just pull a gentle bend in the sheet metal. So you could see, it's abso-smurfly perfect. The thing is, once these weird issues are resolved with the way the B-pillar used to come out of the door, you can see it's a really straight, clean line. It's a big window, 6 foot long. I think the look is nailed. There's just a lot of detail stuff that needs to go into finishing it. I'm gonna finish the driver's side, do up the passenger side in the same way, and then it's ready to show to Victor. Two-door conversion looks great. I'm just kind of messing around, putting the tires back on, and Victor comes in.
Ian.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on?
I got these, all the windows and everything wrapped up for the two-door swap.
Yeah, that's wow. That's right on.
Victor walks in and he's all about it. I could see he's doing the pace, you know, he's walking around, doing the manager stare. He's got nothing but good stuff to say. I guess it's good.
Day and night, I mean, with the pillars gone, it makes this thing just flow. I mean, the hood, the back, it's like, wow. Two-door conversion, hey, that was a natural, but to take the post off and make it, you know, a hard top, changed the whole look of this car. I mean, it's like the hood, this thing goes on for days.
I got this two-door conversion nailed. In looking over the rest of the project, I think we got a bigger issue in the rear fender wells. The front we've been working on so diligently, everything's worked out good. The airbag suspension, everything worked out fine, but what it added up to was the rear fender well. I can't get that tire back on. Victor's guys have done a considerable upgrade on the air suspension under here. It made the car incredibly low, but as I'm looking at it, there's no way this tire is gonna go back on. There's just no room for it. The whole deal is, you know, when this skirt used to be on here, you'd take it off to be able to change the tire, but the axle will be down here somewhere. But now, even with this tire, I deflated it. There's no way I can get it through here. It's just...
So the tire's deflated now?
That's what I'm saying. Why would you change a flat with a flat?
We didn't really notice there was a problem with the tires till we put the air suspension on it.
you know, there's a solution out there somewhere. It's just up to you what you want to do.
That's good because I got some other ideas anyway. I want to put some bigger skirts on this. Remember, it's supposed to be a Merc eater?
Right.
Well, we need to get some Merc skirts on it or something that looks like that. And I got some in my other yard. So let's go see what I got and see what fits.
Victor is a collector of numerous car parts. His process is just seeing something cool and storing it for a later date. So I'm excited to see what he's got. It's gonna be a little field trip.
This is my junkyard. Here's, I got some stuff back here. I forgot what I had. I haven't been back here.
You say your
in
junkyard
years.
like there's only one. I haven't been to this part before.
Yeah, this is one I forgot about.
Walking over to Victor's yard, I'm seeing some pretty cool stuff that he wasn't telling me about. I recognize one of them, but there's three that I've never seen before. It's like a 65 Lincoln, some kind of cool little Nash Metropolitan, and then some oldie 40-ish Chevrolet. Oh, wow, this is cool. What's this, oldie Chevy?
Yeah, something in
40?
30. Yeah, here they are right here. See if this thing even opens. Yeah, here we go. Check that out.
Victor's in the back seat of this car, dusting stuff off. He pulls the first set of skirts out.
Oh, what does that say there? 51 Merc.
And there's a label on it that says 51 Merc. These are pretty raw, man. Somebody's
They're
just
like-
making these out of fiberglass.
Yeah, someone out of Pomona. You know me in Pomona. Here's one that's more completed, I guess. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Second, he pulls out this weird-looking pink thing. He's telling me it's a fender skirt, but it looks more like an old surfboard or something.
It's something you can modify, right?
Sure, and you got a pair of these too. We'll definitely modify the paint first, but
Yeah, no, maybe we'll paint the car that color, who knows?
he's pulling out a whole bunch of different shapes. He's got these other ones, kind of like a round teardrop sort of shape, definitely for a car like the Chevy we're taking them out of. So there's a whole bunch of different ones to choose from, but nothing tells it like putting it on the actual car. The three options you have here look like they'll fit. We just put them on the car and see which one looks best, and I think we're good to
All
go.
right, cool. Let's go put them in my truck. I'm hoping that we could use one of these just to bolt on to save some time, and hopefully it looks cool and we could get on with other parts of this project.
What's up with these freaking kiddie rides, man?
Yeah, no, I was in the helicopter business like your buddy.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right. You're doing a little
I
helicopter
figured if he
work.
could build a helicopter, repair it, I could do one too.
We got to put a chassis under this and cut this thing out. We're ready to ride, man. I'm always a sucker for the interesting stuff. You know, I've seen a million cars, but he's got these little, you know, coin-operated toys you see in front of the supermarket. He's got a helicopter and an airplane. Like you're 5 years old all over again. Whoa, it's a bucking Bronco. Getting these skirts back in the shop, so we're gonna line them up, tape them on the car, and see what develops.
Okay, this is it. Let's see what we could do with that.
I don't know, what's your first pick? My first pick is the 51 Merc.
All right, let's do it. Here it is. Do you have the magic?
Yeah, the
Glue?
application tape. All right, got the application tape. How about right there?
It don't have enough bulk to it. It doesn't add that other, like, element. It's, like, too flat.
The whole issue with the Merc rear quarter is it's very flat, and these skirts represent that. Packard is much more curvy, so there's kind of a misalignment.
We need to get something longer. Let's try these other ones.
Pair to fast. Next on deck is Big Pink.
Proportion-wise, it's there. The shape is just another shape. It's the wrong, see the curves on the car? That doesn't got it, but I love the length of it. It's just out of proportion.
I like the way it steps off of the car, but that ain't the one. What I'm thinking about mainly with the second choice is that it's just way too square, you know? Victor's telling me he likes the fact that it's longer, but it's not the right shape. That's it, man. That's strike two. We only got one more. Our third choice was these kind of manufactured-looking skirts. They had no label on them.
These are off of a Merc 2.
The contour of this one fits to the body better than all of them, so this just might be the one. Taping them up on the car, they look pretty darn close. Look at that, it's great.
The size is there, but it doesn't flow. It doesn't match the body. It's too It's still too small. I like the way it bulges here only. From here to here is done. You're done here. But this I don't like. I have my
Envisioning tape?
envisioning tape.
Aha. In typical Victor form, simply taping this skirt on the car is not going to be enough. He's got his other roll of tape, his envisioning tape, and he's starting to draw lines on the car. So what you're looking to do here is bring that 2/3, 1/3 proportion to the skirt. You want that to come right up to where the old trim line used to be. That's why they put it there, because that line looks best. I get it. That's cool. While Victor's here, I want to mock up the shape of the fender skirts. Once we figured out the outside line of the skirt, it's just a matter of trimming the metal to fit and fastening it to the fiberglass. Victor's whole plan here is just completely covering up the old rear door. By having the skirt match up with the front door jamb, it's going to give the illusion that the two-door was always that way.
Yeah, that's it right there, man. That's it.
I think you're onto something. Victor liked the look of the skirts. I'm just going to replicate that in steel and get the car ready for bodywork and paint. This car is getting very close. The last few things are wrapping up. Victor's got his interior guy, Lino, on it.
Yeah, Lino, he's done a lot of interior work for me. He's done 4 or 5 cars for me. Lino, right now we're designing the seat. They're off of a 62 T-Bird, and we've already molded them into the back seat of the Packard, and they fit perfectly. On the interior, I wanted to keep with the theme of something in the 50s, right? We're going Merc Eater, right? Lino, show me how that's gonna look. Okay, you wanna do some diamond tuck? Okay, good, good. Okay. One thing unique about Lino, he's deaf. And then what about here? What are you doing here? Here's the leather. I don't know sign language, but I don't know what it is. I understand exactly what he's telling me. In fact, that guy talks more than any guy I know. Okay, so that'll be just pure leather. Okay. Okay. He's gonna do a red seam here. Okay. Okay, so it'll all match together. Okay.
Victor and Lino are kind of like the odd couple. I'm not sure how they communicate, but somehow they make it work.
With Lino, he's the type of guy, he's like Ian. The concept he was gonna do with my idea of the diamond tuck, and then he started showing me what he was gonna do on the outside and how he's gonna tuck it in, where the seams are gonna go. The guy goes to the next level. I said, you nailed it, go for it. Good, all right, that's good then, perfect. Now what are we gonna do with the front seats?
Typical mode with Victor is use what you have, and he's got these seats.
Okay, this seat is out of a 2004 Lexus Coupe.
I've been through this before. When you convert a 4-door into a 2-door, you can't use the same seats. In a 2-door, they need to flip forward, otherwise nobody's going back there.
This one, when you push the button, the backrest comes forward and the seat goes forward so people could get into the back seat because we closed up the back doors. Now, Lino, what are we gonna do here? Okay, first we're gonna cut off the old headrests because this doesn't go with the nostalgia of the old 50s car, so it's gonna be rounded off. Now, let me see what he's doing here. Okay, same thing in the middle. He's gonna do diamond tuck in the middle, and he made it proportionate to the seat. Most people would do big old diamond tucks. This guy put everything into proportion with the car. Look at how that's gonna look. The guy is good. He's just slow. When is this gonna be finished? I need this finished. We have such time constraints on this project just because it's Craig's birthday and I wanted to give it to him for his birthday, not after. 1 day, 2 day. You hope? He hopes 2.5 days. I hope too, because if not, there won't be seats in the car. All right, good job. Hopefully, he could get this job on time. If not, Craig, he'll be sitting on a 5-gallon bucket.
car's done. It's a wrap. Victor's guys got it all dialed in. My favorite thing about this car is that it looks 100 miles long. It's like that cartoon you saw with the big giant gangster car. It's exactly what this thing is. It's really stretched out. It's low, it's lean, it's mean.
That car looks great. I knew once I give it away, that's it, it's not my car. So I said, hey, I want to enjoy it while I can. We better take this thing for a test drive. And it drove so smooth. I said, hey, Ian, you want to drive this thing? And he looks over.
And I'm like, of course. It's what I came here for. Chassis swap was an awesome call. This thing drives like a new car. The gloss paint job makes it very classy.
We're driving. I said, pull over. I want to see this thing. When I stepped out and, I seen the car driving and looked at it in a wide open space, it was like, wow. I mean, this thing looks mean. I mean, like really, really mean.
I could tell from Victor's response, his expression as I'm cruising by, it's exactly what he wanted to see. He's a happy camper.
I looked, I said, hey, Ian, get out of the car and look at this thing. Let me drive by. I mean, look at it.
I was always sold on the rear view of this. I did the chop to my preference. Victor kept that in place. The thing that really turned me on about the whole thing was the nose. The way that the Merc was modified, just a little bit, car coming straight at you looks good.
I see him with his thumbs up and I seen the guy smile. I didn't think the guy could smile. He's like, whoa, I see teeth.
After the test drive, we take it back to Victor's shop. We pull it in next to his Mercs.
Let it down, parked it right next to my other two Mercs in the garage, and she fit right in.
Lino finished up the interior. It looks great. Leather upholstery, totally pro. Victor was able to get an original Packard steering wheel, and Lino modified the wheel to fit and the dashboard to cover all the existing late model stuff. It looks old, acts like new. I'm so charged up right now. I can't believe Craig is gonna get this thing. He's gonna flip out.
Yeah, I called him, he's due any minute, and I told him, hey, come down, check out my new car. I just completed it.
Yeah,
he has no idea what's gonna happen here.
It's a heck of a bonus. I don't know how Craig's gonna respond. He's a pretty cool character. It's all business. Let's see how this works out.
Wow, this thing came out beautiful.
Didn't that come out really cool? Check it out, man. What do you think?
Wow, you guys did a great job on this.
I brought you here, and I know today's your birthday, and all the effort and everything you've done, man. Dude, happy birthday. That's your car we built. So this whole time, we've been building your car. I just paid you back all the effort you did for me. And that's your
No
car.
way.
Happy birthday,
Really?
man. Yeah.
Thank you. For somebody to go ahead and do that for you, it's totally awesome.
Sit in it, turn your car on, drive it.
It took some time to go ahead and sink in that the car actually belongs to me. Still as I'm talking right now, I'm not believing it.
Craig, man, you look good in that thing. Let me see, close the door.
Are you sure this is mine?
It's yours, I already told you, man. You just need the shades and you got it, man. Look at that face. A face only a mother could love.
This car is totally awesome. And to even own something that Victor and Ian had built together, there's no words that could describe it. It's priceless.
I'm glad. The only car that I've ever given away goes to this man. And this just continues to inspire me for the next vision. And with Ian, anything's possible.
Victor redoing this Packard is proof positive that nothing's ever finished unless you want it to be. He's got me thinking about a bunch of projects of my own that just might need a little refreshing.
If it's done right, we could give a Merc a run for its money all day long. I see the Packard being a Merc eater, and that people are gonna be buying up Packards throughout the United States. So if you have any money, start buying Packards.
Is it a Merc eater?
You know what, let's be honest. There's nothing that's gonna eat a Merc but another Merc. But hey, it's my car. I could say whatever I want.
Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel takes on a lead sled challenge.
A while back, I had this crazy idea. I wanted to take this old Packard and convert it into a lead sled for my friend Tom.
Oh, man.
Came out pretty cool. And then Victor saw it.
I said, hey, Ian, you think Tom will ever sell the car? And he said, you kidding?
But with a little wheeling and dealing, Victor made it happen.
Surprise, I got the Packard. I don't want to change that much, but I want to change everything.
Victor comes in and just wipes the slate clean.
You've chopped the car.
Right.
To me, that's baby stuff.
As the guys get into it, things don't go as planned.
Sometimes building a custom car isn't pretty, not in the beginning stages.
Ian, my car, what the heck you do to my car?
We're on to a new adventure. You know where it's going. Full custom, baby. Victor wanted me to come over, some kind of consultation. I'm walking down the driveway, and the Packard's already there.
Surprise.
Yeah, right. It's been a while since I saw this car. How'd you pry this out of Tom's hands?
I said, hey, Tom, you want to sell it? No. And just like everything else, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. When I first seen the Packard, I said, hey, that's a Packard? This thing could look just as nice as any Merc.
So the whole thing with this car is I thought it was a great looking vehicle. I mean, what do you want to do with it?
I don't know. I just got the car. My goal is to let it compete with a Mercury. This, I want to be the new lead sled. So that's a Merc eater right there. If it's done right, we could give the Merc a run for its money all day long.
First sentence in the conversation, Victor says, this is going to be the Merc killer. I'm thinking about his last Merc we did, and he cut the roof off it. And I'm like, oh man, we're not cutting the roof off of this Packard. Whatever you're thinking, all I ask is don't mess with the roof line. That's my favorite, that's my pride in the whole project.
Yeah, no, I love the way the chop came out. It's perfect. The rest of the lines, we could do a minor adjustment on it.
I've seen your minor adjustments before.
Well, you know that, but it's gotta be crazy.
Victor and I have built a lot of cars together. He likes to go from top to bottom with all his builds, so who knows what could happen with this one. You know, I'm into the crazy stuff, man. I always thought we could go way further with this, and the chop was a good starting point.
The whole drivetrain has to be replaced to something modern, right. So let's see what we could come up with, you know, kick it around.
Victor's kind of vague. All I'm getting out of him is that he wants this thing to be a driver like the rest of his fleet. They're all road-worthy vehicles, and that's where this Packard's lacking.
I want to have this thing on the freeway doing 70 miles an hour with no problem.
Sure.
So where do we start?
Most straightforward ways is just get maybe a mid-70s Camaro or GM front subframe. That gives you the disc brakes, the power steering, and the mounts for a V8 engine. From what I could see, to make this thing a perfect driver is just put a modern front suspension clip under the hood, put in a new engine, and this thing's a runner. It's good to see that this car is going to get taken one step further. It's a great looking machine. I think whatever you add to it's really going to make a big difference.
I don't want to change that much, but I want to change everything, right? I mean, hey, if I can't utilize your ability, you've chopped the car.
Right.
To me, that's baby stuff. We're going into full body remodification.
We're having a simple, or so I thought, simple conversation about putting a front clip under this thing, and then Victor's walking around the car. He's talking about adding this, doing that. Fortunately, he's not talking about the top, but he's talking about everything else.
We just want to bring out them bulges, and we want to bring out the lines, and we want to layer on the ground. Whenever I'm around Ian, the lights turn on and all of this stuff comes out of my head on ideas. I mean, on the spot, it's like the switch is on.
So we're talking about this Packard, and he's saying Merc killer. It's got to be better than the Merc, yada, yada, yada. So he pulls out his black Merc, the Misfit. We built that a few years ago. It's a great looking car. He's looking to take it out with the styling of this Packard.
I'll be darned if that doesn't look better than this, because you know every project we've done has always been over the top. I see the Packard being a Merc eater, and that people are going to be buying up Packards throughout the United States. So if you have any money, start buying Packards.
So all we need to do is make something look better than your Mercury. No problem. I spent a lot of time underneath that Merc. That's the thing. I know what's underneath the car, and it's really clean. It's a total freeway machine. There's two different classes in a car show. There's mild custom and full custom. That's what I do. This car left the shop as a mild custom. Somehow it found its way into Victor's hands, and you know where it's going. Full custom, baby. It's time to take it all the way. I'm totally into it. Let's do it. Victor's gonna come by today. He says he's got everything. He's got all the parts we need for the front suspension upgrade, and I'm just gonna work on getting this Packard ready for construction. This is like deja vu, like I'm viewing it all over again. It's amazing. The cool part about this project is the greasy, nasty part is done. Victor has a team of guys at his place, and they took out the engine and trans. He's got all the front sheet metal unbolted, and he's already talking about donor vehicles, so I think he's got everything pretty much sorted out. Pulling this nose apart, I know when it goes back together, it's not gonna be the same car. Victor has hinted at a few things. It's kind of an ugly nose on the car, so taking it off, just hopefully when it comes back together, it's way cooler.
Check it out, I got your clip. You wanted a front clip.
Oh yeah, perfect. What the heck is this thing?
1997 Grand Marquis. I know I went a little nuts
You think so?
instead of just cutting the clip off.
Right.
I cut the rest of the car off.
Yeah. You forgot to tell him to stop cutting. That's the problem. Kind of surprised that he drove this thing over, all in all, but you could see it's a driving vehicle.
I mean, the thing runs bitchin', the horn works, and you gotta take this thing for a drive. It's so smooth.
I'm trying to laugh it off, like, all right, yeah, I can't wait to cut this thing apart. And Victor's like, no, man, you gotta drive it. This car is smooth.
Not bad, huh?
I think it's a good contender, man.
Well, shit, he had more fun than I did. He was in the parking lot burning out and having a blast.
Just like any used car salesman, the test drive seals the deal. I kicked the tires, I did some burnouts, a couple donuts. This car is a keeper.
When he came back, he said, yeah, that's gonna work. But little does Ian know, I have different plans. At first, when we were talking, I was thinking just the front clip.
Oh, sure, makes sense.
Then as I started taking it apart and drove it, I'm thinking the whole car, utilizing everything, even the pan, everything that's here, air conditioning, computer, motor, disc brakes. I mean, do you know how much time and money will save?
Now the story starts to flesh out. That's why you left the floors. You
That's
want to
why I
put the
left the
body
floor.
skin on this whole car. So Victor pulls the old switcheroo, you know? Oh, well, we're not actually going to cut this one apart. We're going to use the whole thing.
So the challenge is to put that body on this car. We want that to be a 1997 Grand Marquis
With a Packard
on a
suit
Packard.
The old Emperor's New Clothes trick. Bottom line is Victor wants to do a body swap. He wants to cut the top of the Packard body off of the floor pan and put it onto this floor pan from the Grand Marquis. You want to leave this dashboard and everything.
We're gonna leave the dashboard because we're gonna do the fiberglass coming down into it and
I
just
see.
modify what's existing. It's all gonna get reworked to 50s futuristic instrument panel. Don't ask me what that means, but it sounds damn good.
It's a great concept, but they're two way different cars. And I just want to put them side by side to see how it's going to line up. The wheelbase is definitely off. Did you even measure this? It looks like the proportions are pretty far off. What's the deal? You guys did some preliminary?
My thumb, I looked at it like this and like this. No, I'm kidding. We got some measurement. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple inches here and there that need adjusting, but it's pretty close. It's really close.
I could see they're less than a foot apart. I know Victor is well thought through in all of his processes, but when we put them together, you can clearly see there's some issues. And I'm like, hey man, did you measure this? Did you take the time to really think this through?
I said, well, kind of. And you know me, I'm always ambitious. You know what? My thing is, I just see with my eyes. Mechanical stuff, I don't give a shit about you. That's your issue. My thing is that this should go onto that. How? I don't know. That's why I brought it here.
I see. Probably my greatest fault to date is to tell you, you know what? No problem. We could do this. No sweat. Victor was just saying, this is gonna happen. He thought about it enough to know that I could pull it off. I guess that's all he needs. Another walk in the park, as usual.
Yeah,
You said this was gonna be an easy one.
For step one, if we achieve this, wait until you see what's coming next.
Perfect. It looks like it's gonna be close. Victor left it up to me, and the only way to tell is to cut it all apart. So you think about cutting a car, and it's pretty technical, but when I think about cutting a car, it's like taking the top off of a tin can, and that's exactly what we're doing here. You have this shape, and you have a lid. It doesn't even know it's a lid. We're gonna make it one and take it right off. Main thing I was excited about at the start of this project is a lot of the hard work is done. The whole demo of this Grand Marquis is done. Body's off, the Packard's pretty much stripped out. The big question is, will they fit together? Hey, that's my seat. Passenger side, thank you. Come on, let's take that car body off. Getting all this sheet metal separated was not that big a deal. So the harder part of it with the Packard is gonna be lifting this body so it doesn't distort. Just like everything else I do, simplest possible manner. I could have built a big structure and raised this thing. Instead, I stuck a forklift right through the window openings. This is called the old rag and welding glove trick. Added it so it wouldn't ruin the window channels and lifted it right up. That there is the symbol of a nice, strong chop top. Nothing deformed. The guy who built this knew what he was doing. Well, that being said, that sucker is out that door forever. Away with you. Pretty simple. Lift up that body and get rid of the trash. We got something better coming in. Done all you could up until this point, but it just wasn't good enough. I think the biggest challenge here is about 50 years difference in technology. You got two giant metal shapes from completely different generations. That's the challenge. It's like stacking blocks. I'm gonna put this car on that car and see where they clash. Oh yeah, and that's how the tires are supposed to sit. The back laid down perfect. The best thing I was satisfied with was how this car just kind of bottomed out. No scratchy noises, no weirdness. It just clunked right on the floor. The back looks perfect. This is exactly what Victor's looking for. That is a huge problem. The thing is, the back went in so perfectly, I was focusing on that to come around to the front of the car, and I could see the reason it's still up in the air. You got major issues in the A-pillar and the dashboard area. He wants to keep the dashboard stock, cut off as much as possible without affecting any more of the structure of the donor chassis. And I really need all of this in here. I already compromised the structure of one. I'm not gonna do it to both. What's happening is the Packard's a triangle coming up into the window areas, and the Grand Marquis is a box. It's parallel, straight up and down, versus triangle. As you bring it down, it ain't gonna work. Definitely hit a major snag in our grand scheme. Just as I'm trying to figure out my plan of attack, Victor walks in.
Hey, how you doing, man? You did it, huh?
I done did it. I have some bad news for you, though. Your call on this frame is perfect width-wise. Tires tuck. It still can go right to the ground.
Okay, good.
The issue I ran into is the dashboard and the wheelbase.
Ian pointed out to me, hey, the dash doesn't fit in the car. Off the record, and don't tape this, it wasn't gonna fit, and I knew it, but I had to challenge this guy. Everybody that I was talking about what I was doing with all my friends, and they said, that's not gonna work. I said, I know it's not, but Ian will make it work.
The whole problem here is not only the issue with the dashboard clearance, but it's also the wheelbase. Well, the wheelbase on the Packard is way out of line. You could see it's gonna need at least, say, a 10-inch stretch if you look at the center of that hub.
Okay.
So this is kind of what I was thinking. We could kill two birds with one stone. If we cut the chassis and extend it, it looks like maybe a foot. In car terms, a foot extension is pretty significant. So check this out, this is what I'm thinking. So I think if we cut off right here,
Correct.
and we can just extend it. It's too generic, just like a ladder frame right there.
Simple.
But it would solve the issue with the wheelbase in the front fender and the dashboard. As long as you're cool with it, I'd like to cut that chassis and bring it forward.
Extend it out, let's go for it and see.
So I explained the fix for the front wheelbase and dashboard issue, and then further directed him to the rear, where I was really proud of how well it worked out.
I want this thing on the ground. Go underground, go an inch below surface, and then when we go up a half inch, there's no questions, it's on the ground.
Victor, you know, he's shaking his head no, because he says it's not low enough. He wants the thing down on the ground. So it's close, but it ain't there yet.
That thing gotta smash beer cans.
Okay. After the talk with Victor, it was affirmed that we needed to stretch the car a foot. This stretch is going to be very straightforward, simply because we're taking existing pieces and just moving them a little bit apart from each other. Look at that. You can make a limousine out of this thing if you wanted to. The way that they put these frames together from the factory, it's a series of metal shapes that are stacked, and then they're fillet welded all along the joins. I'm accomplishing the same thing with much heavier stock. I have my rectangle tube mimicking the shape of the original frame, and I'm stacking another piece on top of it, doing a fillet weld everywhere I can reach, then drilling through and plug welding the parts that extend past the original join in the frame extension. So it's a series of stacked metal shapes, all reinforcing each other. This thing is done. It's time to get the body on. Took a bit of doing, but I got the body on. I got it down low the way Victor was asking for. I had to change the tire and rim combo. The other ones were too wide. Right as I got him on, Victor shows up.
Hey, Ian, what's going on?
What's happening, man?
Where'd the white walls come from?
To get it to lay down, it needed some skinny, tall tires, so I just went with the 560/15 white walls.
That has a stance, you got it down low, it sits evenly. When I walk in, I look at the car, and he nailed it again. He surprised me. Any problem with clearance in the back?
Well, that's why I had to put the tires on, because those fat mag wheels were not letting it lay down. So I went with the skinny tires. It dropped right on the floor.
How about up front? It looks like you took care of all this stuff here.
Well, I had to do a lot of clearancing, and that's where the bad news starts. When you're looking at this car from the rear three-quarter view, it's sitting pretty. It's all good. The front end is a different story, and I gotta break the news. Let me show you how this fender lines up.
Okay.
It's close. In an effort to try to keep it as intact structurally as possible, I've just been picking away at it a couple inches at a time. And then the front.
So what's stopping it from hitting that? Is it this corner?
As you see here, it's the headlight bucket is right on that bolt.
Okay, with this here, the solution, we're changing that anyway. That's all gonna get cut off, and this will sit up a few inches here where it actually comes up. It's going from here up and back down to flow.
Right off the bat, Victor shows me the headlights he's planning on using, and they're a completely different orientation as the Packard units.
And at the same time, we're coming off this level, and then we're coming here and up a little, and then back down. So it's got an enhancement.
Victor comes in and just wipes the slate clean. He wants to restyle the entire front fender. In fact, the entire nose of the car, as it turns out. So if you're willing to just delete the front of both fenders, then it's a perfect lineup. We'll just build around the underlying structure. It's a 10-minute cut. I'll do that, and we can get this hood and fenders on.
Awesome, I'm there, let's do it.
I'm just going to eliminate everything that's in the way. I'm going to leave a small area representing the front where it meets the hood, and that's kind of it. The whole headlight and grille area is out of the fender. Well, now you can see you have plenty of clearance. That changes everything. It eliminates the ugly in the front of the Packard, and it helps me mount the fenders without an issue with the headlights at all. Hey, look, it fits. That's going to be all right.
Damn, look at that thing. That's one long-ass front end.
There's a million ways you can go about restyling a car, and I know Victor's got a plan. He's been thinking about it for a while, and it's not gonna be okay to just mock something up and have him check it out. I need to nail a few of the core lines with him here so that we can get it right.
Probably a little bit more to your left. Yeah, the fender, the tire side. Before you do that, I want to do, like put something up so we got a little high point.
Just like an artist is drawing a line, we're gonna do that same thing. We gotta figure out how to suspend a nice graceful arc. First call is to try to just pull some tape across, and it looks terrible. It's all faceted, flat, straight lines.
Just up like a quarter, half an inch, and then back down.
Well, I have this round rod.
All right.
I got a pretty good idea on how materials work, so I got this 3/16 inch round rod, and I just hold that up on the same plane as the tape, and it just bows gracefully. Just the weight of it makes the perfect arch.
Yeah, that's it right there. Shit, that's it. After he put the rebar on, he handed me a piece of cardboard.
So, got the little envisioning board.
Yeah,
Try
well,
that
check
out.
this out. 'Cause coming from this point, yeah, look at that. That's like perfect right there. So I get it, I fold it over gently so I got the contour of the car. I could literally see what I was thinking.
As soon as he expresses this upper fender ridge, I could see where he's going with this late 40s Caddy styling. They have a very pronounced upward curve in the fender, and it's just a super deluxe look.
It flows right in, right off of this line to that line right there. I'm over here going, yeah, man, that's cool. Ian gets quiet again.
That design's great, but that's a lot of metalwork. You got 6 foot on one side, 6 more makes 12 by 3 foot. It's like 30 square feet plus of metalwork. I hope you know somebody who can pull that off.
Did I ever say it was gonna work or not? That's a question. He says, yeah, you're not the one cutting the car up. I go, yeah, that's why I come to you.
I don't want to say it's above my skill level, but I haven't tried this yet. I've cut up a lot of cars, changed a lot of stuff, but I've never done 2 fenders like this. Victor loves throwing down the gauntlet. All I gotta do is run it. I gotta run through all these tasks he's envisioning, and we're on to a new adventure. Here we go. I knew I could swap this body, no problem. These fenders he's talking about are pretty challenging. I gotta match that wire Victor set up on the fender, and a flat piece of sheet metal just ain't gonna work. It's easy to just piece together parts, but to create something from scratch is a whole different skill set, and that's what he's asking me to do. It needs to look kind of like the shape of a potato chip, if you can envision it. It's going to curve this way, and it's going to curve that way. Something for eating salsa. Gotta start somewhere, and I'm thinking that the main line of the fender is exactly what Victor created with this round rod mock-up. So I'm gonna try to create the biggest piece I can with the tools I got. The first step is to shrink it along each side of the sheet and curve it. Doesn't look like much has happened, but I'll tell you, those molecules are feeling the pressure. Hear that? It's tense. This is potentially a disaster. Victor's asking me for something he conceptualized with a piece of round rod and a lot of hand gestures. I don't have any blueprints, I don't have any sketches, I just have a conversation and I'm trying to build a car around that, so it could go either way. That's pretty darn close to what I need at this end, but you can see it's just a straight shot. So I got some stress in here and I got some stress up here. Now we're gonna put it in that wheelie thing. Let's see what happens. The 2 tools I'm using are really the standards for any kind of metal forming. You need to shrink it or you need to stretch it. If you're ambitious, you could build a whole car out of this if you knew what you're doing. But don't give Victor any ideas. It's pretty labor intensive, and I'm not that ambitious. Coffee break. This piece is the backbone of the design, so anything can happen, but you need a center line, and that's what this is establishing. I don't know what Victor's thinking. I'm just trying to set up this line, this one line he established. Everything for me has been structural and alignment oriented, so this is the first bit of art. Having done this one curved section for the fender top, I think that's gonna be the same process all the way through. As soon as I figured out this backbone ridge top thing, it's on. So the whole thing with this is it's gonna be made in so many pieces. I'm just trying to hold it on the car. I'm just gonna start assembling parts. It's kind of like a puzzle that you're making the pieces out of. but I'll be able to take smaller sections for this reverse dip that he was talking about. In getting this fender line to look proper, I had to just trim back, and once I figured out a line that it's gonna join properly, the challenge is to get them to flow evenly. If you don't want it to look like a bunch of bricks on a wall, you want it to just look like a smooth, slippery surface. I never even receive an ounce of praise. I do this all day just to buy food. I even give you the bargain brand. This is an advanced mock-up. I mean, it might be a keeper, it might not, so I'm just trying to streamline it. I don't want to make it twice. I think this fender's a keeper. The whole thing is if Victor thinks this fender's a keeper.
Ian, how you doing?
Aha.
Damn, that flow's bitchin'. That's it, man.
The good thing is Victor walked in and right away you could see the gleam in his eye.
The difference from this side, stock, just straight down like nothing, to come in here by just raising this up and giving it an arc here, it give the whole fender like it's on steroids. No steroids, steroids.
Right.
It's in proportion, it flows, and it's gonna eat a Merc.
Well, I was really stressing about the fender creation issue, but if you're happy with it, then the big challenge is what do we do about the grill? There's nothing going on there.
I brought you surprise, so come on out and I'll show you what my idea is.
All right, let's see what you got. Victor's got people. He's got people all around doing stuff. So he tells me he's got some of his guys dropped off a bunch of things in the driveway and I need to check it out.
I've been thinking about this for a while too, like I think about everything else in my mind. And he's looking at me now, what the heck this guy gonna come out with?
Whoa, a Mercury. What is that, 1950, just like your other ones?
1950 Mercury, it was another project. I figured I'd donate it to help you complete the front end on that other project.
Crazy, man, you could sell this for a grip. It's people who want this part all over the place. This thing's in perfect shape.
Yeah, no, perfect shape.
Everybody wants to know where this came from, and the backstory I get is one of his friends somewhere down the line tried to chop the car, customize it, and made all the wrong moves. So apparently what Victor has is a dilapidated, half-rotted, half-assembled Mercury four-door. Fortunately, the guy didn't cut the nose, and that's what we need.
Right here, we don't need the fenders. All I want is the opening in that grill. All the opening in that grill. Here's the original 1950 bumper, front, back.
This is freaking cool, man. I was just stuck on that fender side thinking, what are we gonna do about the center? I'm gonna have to make something just the same, but if you're not attached to this, I'll just cut it up right here and we'll drag it in the shop.
And he says, hey, Victor, you attached to this thing? I said, well, heck yeah, I'm attached to it. It's a 50 Merc front clip. I'm bringing you the front opening, the mouth. And he looks at me and says, I think I need a little bit more than the mouth. Doesn't matter if I'm attached or not, we gotta do it.
It's okay, there you go.
Right, cool, let's do it.
As soon as I saw him give me the look, I knew it was on, and I rushed to the shop to get the tools. I'm ready to gut this thing.
He comes out with a grinder, and I'm going, wait a minute. You know, shit, that's a $3,000 front end, and he starts cutting the hell out of it.
Sometimes building a custom car isn't pretty, not in the beginning stages. Everybody knew this had to happen, but going through the experience is somewhat traumatizing at times.
And I was tripping out. I was like, wow.
That finishes it, man. It's never going back to stock.
Ian, my car, what the heck to do to my car? And then I turn around and see Ian's dog. Dude.
He's concerned.
And even the dog goes, that's a 50 Merc you just cut up. Look at his face, he's saddened. Dude, sorry. You'll be okay, you're going to good use.
Let's take this Mercury inside and see what she's got.
The anticipation of bringing that front end up to the Packard, I was like, I gotta see this, I gotta see this. Here she comes. That's a trip, huh? putting this grill to it, it gives it like this masculine, like a bulldog, literally. Like maybe that's why the dog was tripping out. He probably thought it was his relative. Look at that, it's like,
I can see a clear path to victory. This nose piece is a game changer, but it's gonna take a little bit of doing though. I gotta trim out a lot on both cars to get this thing in position, but this nose thing takes it to the next level. Getting this Merc front end ready for the Packard. It's a rusty old car, it's been sitting around. I'm gonna clean as much of the rust off as possible just so I can start to get an idea of how this will fit on the car. Yeah, yesterday this was way out. Now it's way in. See, the look is really good, the way it mates up to the fender, but it's way wide. It looks like this nose is gonna get sectioned into 3 or 4 pieces. The 2 headlight shells I think will mate to the fenders really well, and I'm just gonna cut it apart and fit it up on the car in pieces. See that? Right up to the headlight, mates into the fender, just perfecto. And we don't want it to look crooked or weird, so I'm gonna build a jig so that they're parallel and at the same orientation. So I can weld it right to the headlight bucket. I want them to both be at the same plane, and they'll still be parallel. The big thing is to just get these headlights positioned, and then I can hang the grille and move forward from there with the sheet metal. I have to build the whole passenger fender, which is an exact mirror of what I accomplished on the driver's side, and then I'm gonna sheet in around the headlights. Fenders are a sure thing. The big concern is this nose and the way the hood is gonna come into this grille shape. The Packard nose comes to such a point, if you continued it forward at that trajectory of the 2 sides, it would be like a little triangle shape. We don't want that. We want it to have like a really pronounced hood. So Victor's got another Merc hood I'm gonna have to section in so that the front end's a little more bulbous. So this is the hood from the Merc. It came off of the same car. You can see it's in darn good shape. It looks terrible because it's completely rusty, but it's not cancer rust, it's just surface. It's almost a shame to cut this thing. Victor's got the resources, we're gonna cut it. Somebody will pay a freaking mint for this thing. The decision has already been made, it's out of my hands. Strangely enough, the one piece we're saving is the only place on the hood with a dent. There are a few things that I won't cut up, and this is right on the border. This is gonna be a tough one. Just made every other 49 Merc hood that much more valuable. That's all you gotta remember. What a shame. It would be way easier to just try to graft this little nose section on, but I want this ridge. And it'll actually be a much stronger join if I lap it to the Packard, so it'll be like a big diamond shape. That's why I'm completely ruining this hood, but it'll allow us some artistic window of opportunity. That actually don't look half bad. Sure switched up that ugly Packard. The Packard looked like a beak, a bird's beak. It was just way out and it's very thin. The Merc new as a really wide, low car. And this really, it's a half and half. It's just, I can't believe it actually fit. Seeing that this Merc hood worked out was a relief. Now I just gotta figure out the lower portion. The cool factor about the Merc grille and the hood is it's got its factory latches in place. So by lowering this section, you'll see there's a structure in here that is designed to mate up against this. And since I need to lower this, I'm going to have to section it somewhere. So I'll section it right through the dent and then repair it, weld it back together. So it'll have a strip coming right through here. I've got a clear path to finish out this nose, and it's gonna be all right. Splicing these 2 hoods together was a pretty straightforward process in simple terms, but the contours on both sides are way different. So this is now our surface height of the hood. So it's coming through. You see how it's lifting towards the bottom? It's coming right through here like so, till it blends in. So this transition here is gonna be very hard to make. It's another compound curve, but right where that wants to change, I was thinking, if I put a scoop in there, like you see on the Mercs, then all of a sudden the contour wouldn't need to be made. It would turn into a scoop. I don't know where the idea first came from for these scoops in the side of the Merc hood, but you see it all the time. It's a really cool thing. It breaks up the side profile of the hood a little bit. And because we have a mismatch in contour, I think it might just be the perfect fix. A little action in it. See what we come up with over like this. Actually, that don't even look half bad. But it definitely handles that weird mismatch for sure. My first inclination was to put the scoop forward. Maybe not that forward, but somewhere between here and here. I know Victor likes that classic element though. I got a few ideas to make this happen. I just got to sell Victor on the idea. I'm working on getting the bottom corners of the hood rounded. You see that all the time on custom Mercs. And I'm gonna mock up this side profile that just may incorporate a scoop. I gotta show it to Victor. So this is now the new shape of the hood opening, and I'll finish off the shape of the fender surround with the smaller rod. So this will be a nice radiused hood edge. You see it on a lot of customs. Victor's got it like that.
Ian, what's going on?
Hey, man. Just kind of getting this hood together.
Oh, yeah, what a difference, man. I haven't seen the car in a while. I came by today, and that thing looks crazy. It follows the rest of the curves on the car. Curve, 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 curve. The more stuff I give them, the guy still continues to like go beyond my expectation on everything I have them do for me. Cool. That's real good. So what are we gonna do now on the hood here?
Well, that's the thing, you know, the transition from the Merc to the Packard is a little weird. Once Victor digested the look of the front of the car, he was really pleased with it, but then I tell him about the problem, and that is in the side contour of the hood. I want to show him the mock-up for the side panels and see what he thinks about this scoop idea. You know, I'm glad that the front worked out for you. I kind of just did that because I know you like the look of the other car, but the placement of the scoop is something I've been struggling with, whether it goes ahead of the axle line or behind.
Yeah,
so.
Looking at it in proportion-wise, I think it should be not quite half, just a little forward here. Let me see.
Yeah,
Wow.
just like.
Coming in, and it shouldn't really be that drastic. So that's kind of the opening. And then from here, I mean, I'm just gonna draw it. It kind of ends in no more than a 1/4 inch, just to come in, just so there's the scoop line there.
Victor loved the idea. It was really just about placement. He wants it in proportion with the hood. He came up with a solution, and I was feeling really good about it, but Victor had other ideas.
The modification isn't over yet, so don't do this until the bird sings.
I just licked it, man. Game over.
I was gonna say till the fat man sings, but I can't sing worth the shit. I still got some tricks up my sleeve, which I haven't even told Ian about yet. The modification isn't over yet.
Okay.
I really want to get this thing to my house and just to like see it every night so I could kind of feel it and I want to look at it. Something, you know, once it's there, you know me, there'll be a slight modification.
Right.
Next time on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel continues the Lead Sled Challenge.
The main thing I knew bringing the car over to Victor's was that his head was going to be spinning with ideas.
He looked at me and said, oh, that's a good idea, but I could see in his mind, I thought I was done.
I'm feeling like the world-class mountain climber that just summited Everest, and Victor's in the back of the car with like a whole new battle plan.
I want this sucker to bulge.
But Victor's surprises don't stop there.
I've been thinking about giving this car to Craig.
Okay.
The only thing is, his birthday's in a couple weeks.
With the pressure on, Ian's got a plan to pull it off.
There's nothing like hitting it when there's inspiration in the air. So I'm telling Victor, let's just cut it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
When he was talking to me, I didn't quite understand what he was trying to tell me.
Who cares how much effort it takes to get there?
Wow, that's right on.
It's the end result that counts.
Easy, Ian. I don't got insurance on it yet.
I think this is a keeper, man.
Yeah, no, look good, but hey, you didn't have your seat belts on.
My friend Victor called me up about another development on a recent car project we had.
I said, hey, Ian, the Grand Nationals is coming up in the next couple months. It's one of the best shows in California. We need to get the T-Bird in there. He says, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Victor's been a client for a long time. We made this bubble top T-Bird show car thing, full custom body, skirted wheels, hydraulic opening, clear plastic bubble top, just crazy futuristic show car.
Once I started thinking about Grand Nationals, I said, hey, we need to change the look of this car slightly. So I said, hey, Ian, do you mind if we blow another bubble? His eyes like lit up and go, I don't know if it was a sign of happiness or a sign of, oh shoot, what's this guy get me into this time?
Trying to create this clear plastic bubble top was a crazy ride. We figured it out very grassroots in how to accomplish this. Had a couple failures, a lot of research and development. The way that we have set up, it's very limited sight inside the oven. Until the thing cools off, you never know how it's gonna stay in shape. It's sort of a Wild West shootout trying to figure out when to turn the heat off, when to raise the lid, and you never know what you get till you take the box and open it.
The one we want to blow has got to be into proportion with what that car really is. It's a spaceship coming down to Earth.
This is Victor's mode of operation. He just does this with all of his cars. It seems like he just continually refines these vehicles until maybe he's happy, and then refines them again.
I know the car's gonna get a lot of attention because it's unusual. They're gonna go, why would this man do this to this car? And I'll just say, hey, well, Ian told me to do it.
I'm really excited to get this thing to the level where he wants to show it, and hey, what's not to like about an awesome car show? I get over to Victor's, and he's got the whole T-Bird torn apart. It's taken back down to primer, and it's like Groundhog Day. It's like I'm revisiting ground we've already covered.
Just like all my projects, I'm my worst critic. I mean, everyone thinks it's done, and I'll say it's done, but in my mind, what if? So there was a lot of what ifs on this car. My idea was lower in the front, bigger bubbles in the back.
We got the classic setup. We got the barbecue grills, we got the wooden buck, and we got the box set up, just like we did the other bubbles. We're gonna blow one more bubble and try to refine it just a bit more. Practice leads to perfection. So we kind of revisited all our issues with the earlier model and stepped it up big time. Way more structure, new wood, stainless steel. Victor's bringing in his backhoe this time. You can see his game is in serious mode. None of these flimsy contraptions to lift the unit, full hydraulic power, it's on. At this point, all the preparation is prepared. Nothing to it but to do it. Light this thing and let's get it on. It's really hard to compare this to anything else. It really is more a leap of faith than any other contrived recipe. I know the scenario that goes on. You heat the plastic up and you get a shape, but none of them have come out the same, so I don't know how to dial this process in. I just know we get some kind of result every time. All right, everything's on low, box is shut. Victor's the main cheerleader in this event. He's convinced that it's gonna happen, but I'm trying to come up with a defined result. That's the real challenge.
Are we ready to fire her up or what? And I said, well, let's go for it. And I mean, go, 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 go. And he said, slow down. I said, no, Ian, we already know how you've already done 3 or 4. This one should go easy.
Well, we got kind of a weird issue. Look how wrinkled up it's getting. You know, we rebuilt all this and insulated it so good. It's on low and we're already at target temperature after 15 minutes.
He's got his little heat measuring mechanism or device, you know, going all around. He goes, oh man, this thing's heating up too fast.
This is where the alarm bells start to go off. When you change one thing, you change everything. We refined the whole unit and now all the calibration is off. We're at 330. Sides though, where we really want it to come up are only at 320. So the center of it's definitely hot, but the sides aren't. Well, we're not getting consistent heat. The back is 20 degrees cooler than the front. We're just having inconsistent heating issues here. You know, one minute I feel like we're winning, the next minute we're failing. I'm adjusting the grills. I'm trying to adapt to the current conditions. Bottom line is the plastic is heated up. We gotta do it right now. We got one last shot at this, so it has to be right. It seems to be doing what we want. All we gotta do now is pull it out and see. Oh!
Captain, did we get it?
We maximized our potential. Just leaving it up here for a few. I'm gonna let this thing cool down.
It's good. It just the top bubble needs to go in just a little.
You want it to be a little bit smaller?
Yeah, a little bit smaller on the top bubble.
Everything looks good. Victor is looking it over. He wants the front of the bubble to be a little bit smaller, so I gotta let some air out of it.
Yeah, I think it's about there.
We pull it out of the oven, and in looking it over as time passes, it's deflated. We lost all that definition, man. Let's try to blow it up again. It all went away. I took a shot, tried to add more air to it, but it's already hardened. It's not blowing back up. Ah, man, we didn't get it. It's off the buck. There's no more shape in the back. I think it's a loss. We get the bubble out of the oven, and it's not only deflated where he wanted it to, but it deflated where we don't want it to.
And at this point, you know, I just look over at Ian and I didn't know if there's anything more he could do to save this bubble.
It's cooling off at a rapid rate. Last ditch effort. The only thing I can come up with is put it back in the oven. Try to reheat it, try to save it.
Ian said, turn the barbecue grills back on. We're gonna reheat this thing and inflate it again.
I know this is our last try at this. It's our last sheet of acrylic. I'm not giving up. We gotta get this. Victor's a great client because at times like this, he keeps his head together. Somebody might fall apart in a crisis situation. This is how he rolls.
I'm that guy that just thinks these crazy things up in hope they work. I mean, I'm even crossing my fingers now. Where we're gonna end up, nobody knows.
I think Victor's kind of an adrenaline junkie. He just likes to go for it. I'm running around trying to get this thing heated evenly and then slowly let the air in. It looks like it's working. Seems to be doing just what it did before. It's taking its shape again. It's a good sign. Just gonna let it cool like this and not take the air off until it's solid. I am totally lucky that this thing reinflated. Completely dodged a bullet. It was a total fail. Looks like it's gonna recover.
And I'm glad that we did what we did, because originally the front bubble was too big. It was gonna look like a baseball cap. And it did deflate probably 2 or 3 inches.
Way better, yeah. Victor and I are walking around looking at it, and it seems like we got what we needed, but you never know until it's out of the box and right side up. Victor's got his measuring tape, getting all science on it. I'm not gonna be convinced till we see it on the car.
It's like, what the hell is that? Hey, it's some kind of cocoon alien being coming down to Earth to visit Trump.
Just like with the setup, there's a lot of tear down. Now let the thing cool, unbolt it, unscrew it from the backboard, trim it out before you could even see it in place.
This is it.
It's our last chance.
It's this or nothing. We go and put it on top of the car. No one says nothing. It's like, I didn't want to look at him. He didn't want to look at me.
This is a really crazy shape. Bringing it in next to the car, checking it out. It's definitely wild. I just don't know if we need it that wild. Firstly, we're trying to create this unique shape that no one's ever done. And secondly, we're trying to make the car look better for it. So it's kind of a twofold approach.
The ribs I love, but to me, the car's got a flow. The back flows, it's a little high on the front.
I'm not sure it's working.
And I said, Ian, you achieved what I wanted you to achieve, but it doesn't go into proportion with the car. It's flowing in the back. To me, this should be coming from this point. Just because Ian wanted a bubble and a bubble and a bubble and a bubble,
I couldn't live without
he
it.
gave me all these bubbles, and I'm like, no, I don't know. I have one too many bubbles.
Sometimes bigger isn't always better. I mean, it's an amazing plastic sculpture for sure, but it sort of dwarfs the proportions of the vehicle itself. I got an idea that just might remedy the situation. Looking at this latest bubble on the T-Bird, I'm not sure it's working. I got an idea that just might remedy the situation.
Whenever he says he has an idea, I don't know what to expect, but I almost know it's a solution.
Sometimes you gotta take things to the extreme to realize it may not be better. The whole grass is greener on the other side scenario sometimes doesn't stand up. Got me thinking about one of the earlier ones we made. The second bubble we blew was actually really nice. It was almost like a chop top. It was pretty low, super streamlined, just a perfect shape.
Ian said, hey, remember the second bubble we did like a while back? I said, yeah. And luckily, I don't want to say hoarder, but I don't get rid of nada.
I told Victor about my idea to use that bubble, and he ran with it.
Now that we got this old bubble, it has a different flavor. Now it even goes more into the spaceship looking kind of deal. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm gonna redo the paint. I called my airbrush guy, you know, the wrap guy. I'm gonna change this thing all up.
Victor had some really cool paint ideas, and that just set it off.
I'm really looking forward to taking this thing to the Roadster Show. just to show off the design that we did on this car is just out of this world.
It's a 3-day event. Victor's gonna get here over the weekend. I wanted to get here right off the bat. As soon as the doors open, before it gets too crowded, I wanted to check this car out. Finally got this car finished. The reason we decided to go with the smaller bubble is it just looked more streamlined. We made all those crazy accomplishments with the ridges and everything else, and in the end, we just felt like maybe that showed the car off better. It's got a really slick, low, streamlined look. The show just opened. We got loaded in. People are on their way. I'm interested to see what the response is. The cool thing about this car show is everybody's here. A lot of old friends. Rich Evans, Gene Winfield, all the folks in the magazines, a lot of folks that watch the TV show. My friend Bill's even here. He's a client I'd worked with on a few projects in the past. He's checking out the bubble top and he's all questions.
This looks different than when I saw it.
Yeah, he keeps changing it. The main thing people are asking besides what is it is why the heck does it look so different from the prior build on the TV show? The answer is Victor. He's always changing his mind.
I hate to say it, but Victor, you keep doing better.
Well, that's the thing. He's never done with this thing, so.
Looks great.
For me, the choice in the bubble seals the deal. This car looks fast, standing still. Victor topped it off with this amazing graphic, the vinyl wrap, and then he candy clear coated over it. The car really looks 10 miles deep. Enough of this T-Bird. I mean, I've freaking labored over this thing for years. It's nice for me to see it complete. I'm here for the car show. I want to see what's fresh and new. There's every different style of car here. The one thing in common is that they're all super refined. This is a top-notch event. Gotta check out the lowriders. This is where it's happening. I'm just always fascinated with the paint jobs on these cars. The hours they just spend on a paint job, it's like it takes as long to build a car as it does to paint it. Look how the pinstriping just freaking lights up on this. It's out of control. Look at the engine lid on this thing. That's probably vacuum form, but the same thing, it's definitely acrylic. Early blown VW engine. That's freaking epic. It's like a bubble top for the engine. There's tons of 50s cars here. You know, that's when the scene was really in its heyday. So the Tri-5 Chevy exhibit is in this building, and you can see they got them dialed in. In a room full of Tri-5 Chevys, guess which one I'm looking at? Oh yes, this is my pick. This is a car built by Gary Wales. I was introduced to him at the Pasadena Art Center show. If you don't know his name, look it up. He's incredible. He should have a show, not me. Built these giant vehicles out of antique truck parts. He builds hot rods out of super nice, like Rolls-Royce parts. Just incredible craftsman. When I grow up, I want to be just like him. The Amber Award is not a color, it is an acronym. America's Most Beautiful Roadster. That's what the Amber stands for. And it's like the world-class, best of the best, most beautiful roadster. This room is all the Amber Award contenders, and if I had to pick one, this is my pick. Well, this thing is completely customized, every bit of it, but I like the fact that it doesn't try too hard to look expensive. It's easy to just get carried away with $1 million schemes, and this thing is just classy. This is what we need more of. Walking around the show, I mean, there's a lot of nice stuff. It's also pretty predictable. I walk up on this one thing and I don't even know how to react. I've never seen anything like it. Whoever built this car is my hero. It's got a bar, it's got a telephone, It's got a chauffeur seat. This is the epitome of pimp styling. This makes me want to dress in a white tuxedo and entertain the ladies. What were they thinking? I need to know what they were thinking when they made this. This is one of those crazy 1960s concept cars. This is from the World of Wheels car show circuit. So it was really just like crazy stuff to get people in the door. So you see this thing on a poster and everybody wants to go to the show. The company that's doing all these restorations is Galpin Autosports. They have a whole showroom. It's like a giant museum of awesomeness. This is the ugliest car Ed Roth ever built. It's the Orbitron. From concept to completion, it changed somewhere, and now it's iconic, fully restored, kind of the missing link in the Roth series. This show is off the hook, top-notch stuff. Pink Panther car made my day. My job is done here. Victor told me to meet him at the shop. He's driving it, and seeing this car in the sunlight, it freaking pops. This thing looks even better in the sun, man. Wow. You don't get it in the building, you know? The freaking thing lights up.
It runs pretty good too. I almost got in 3 accidents coming home. I knew I shouldn't have drove it. Check it out. Here's our placing.
You said you won an award. Wow.
Yeah, we
what the
won.
Heck? First place.
And hand-built customs.
There's a lot of competition in that room.
Like crazy.
There was a lot of high-end cars there, so I mean, to even place would have been an honor. First place is kind of like, wow. What else was in that class?
Well, we were in the honor of Mr. Gene Winfield.
True fact of the matter is Gene wins either way. He's the guy that showed me how to do the bubble top, so he takes some pride away from this whole thing too, because it's like, you know, kind of took me under his wing, showed me how it's done, and it's a great car as a result.
Hey, I mean, you deserve that, the effort. I mean, you built this thing, what?
4 times.
4 times, well, let me see, 1, 2, yeah, only 4 times.
Right. I really am breathing a sigh of relief for Victor, because this is like his payoff, you know, he's all about showing his work. Finally, we get some kind of end to this quest, and he gets a trophy out of it.
Thanks for all that help, man. Look at what
It's freaking great.
we did. You building it, me with a little bit of input.
Yeah, the thing you have is the tenacity, man. You just keep freaking doing it, you know? When I'm done with a car, I walk away from it. You just keep hammering it on this thing. Now that the car's outside, standing back and looking at it, this top was the right call. That's the thing, it didn't need all those ridges, man. This side profile with the way the windshield area comes in and then it flows right out the back. This is the right call, man.
She looks like she's going at a standstill.
And these stainless trims, this is the call. That seals the deal that there was never any doors on the car, man. Looks great. Hopefully we don't see this car a different color tomorrow.
Not for at least 6 months, I promise you.
That's the big thing about car shows. You get all charged up. You see everybody throwing their ideas out on display, and it just gets me thinking about the next project. I want to get something going to top everything we've done ever for the next stuff. I mean, this car is pretty far out there, man. How are we going to top it?
Well, Ian, we got this far. You won first play. All the little stuff we changed on it through its evolution. Now what?